anybody, for any of the listeners. For the time being, we're still working on the intros. It's going to take some time. A couple people got theirs done. I myself, I'm actually tweaking mine because there are going to be some changes that might even happen tonight. But we'll go forward and see from there what the group wants to do. So furthermore, let's just get right into it. We've got we'll do some little character, or we'll do a player and then character introduction. So just introduce yourself and then introduce who you're playing and a little background on them. And we will start from the top as usual. Carnes, please start us off.
Well, welcome back, everybody. I am Carnes on Discord, Lord Kirov on pretty much everything else, including a Twitch stream. For those who do watch my stream, you're welcome to, but I'm more of an archive. Check out Kuuretsu's if you want a nice community during the show. I play Bashir, the Kobold Ranger. Kind of an old soul guy, but he's very much in tune with nature and protective of people.
All right. Thank you, Sir Carnes. Next we have Rubick.
I'm Rubick Battleforge, a angry dwarf churchgoer that attacks evil with his giant sword, and he's supposed to be the leader of this party, so he's the first into combat. That's it. For the bone collectors.
There we go.
And who are you?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. I am Rubick.
Okay.
That is his only identity.
It's been a facade this whole time. He hasn't been RPing at all.
Right. Next up, we've got. Thank you, Rubick, for that. Next up, we have Jay.
Hi, I'm Jay. I play Scritch, the Goblin Cleric. He is a devout follower of Skirt and likes to spread the word as much as he can. If you don't follow Skirt, you're a heathen, and you'll be converted. And that's it.
There we go. That pretty much sums it all up for Scritch, the goblin cleric of Skirt. Next we have Kuuretsu.
I'm Kuuretsu, and I also have a stream going. If you guys want, I guess, a different point of view, you can go over to Lord Kirov or Carnes as well. Praise Skirt. I play Rask, a linguistically challenged lizard folk who has a thing for fingers, apparently, eating fingers, and uses a glaive.
Fingers and glaives.
Yeah, fingers and glaives. And also has a little flying squirrel dog thing named Kierna that is currently in a wagon that's not by him.
Yeah. Some social issue, or some I guess some separation issues going on there since all that's going on.
Yep.
So with that, thank you, Kuuretsu, for that one. Last but not least, we have Phoenix Aries.
My name is Eric, and I play Jack. He is a Warforged Juggernaut. He also follows the god Skirt, and he's usually found with his great axe and Scritch on his shoulder, cleaving things in half. Or missing altogether. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. All right, now that we finished up with the player and the character introductions, we will get right back into what happened last time for everybody. In case you missed it, or you're just having a little hazy time remembering what happened. So, the session last time was continued off from the Battle of Karax. So, if anybody would like to roll for initiative and just kind of sum it up, since there wasn't really too much, but there were a couple things and some good key points.
not correct. I will re-roll that.
How?
Yeah.
I think Bashir won, but I'm not sure.
I need to fix
Are you
it.
sure?
I
Time
thought I had the
travel.
character sheet fixed. I guess I don't.
I'm impressed. I would normally ask in these situations to look at your character sheet, but I trust you. Nothing
Oh,
seems
shit.
fishy about that.
But
Nothing at all.
Nothing about a 62.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
funny.
the plus 51 is real legit.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine.
nailed it. God damn it. I'm gonna pass.
You're gonna pay us.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
I might be dying.
Please don't die.
So next up we have is Bashir and Rask, which Bashir you have a +5 and Rask you got a +2. So Bashir, if you'd like to take it, you can. It's up to you.
I definitely can.
Okay.
Well, from the best memory off the top of my head, since my notes are not wanting to cooperate today, whatever. We started off with checking on the kids in the back. Bashir jumped in and sort of calmed them down, let them know we were the good guys, just in time to stop Rubick and unintentionally Rask from scaring the crap out of them. And we got them in tow with us. We had the captive that Rubick managed to grapple at the end of the session before last. We hooked him up and made him drag the cart full of us while all the kids stayed in Grimm's wagon all the way to up to the fort. When we got there, we noticed yet again that the place that we were going to was on fire before we even got there. And so we left the kids in Grimm's care with NPC guy the Knoll, and both intentionally and unintentionally taught their leader, the kids' leader, I think his name was Dustin, how to use the ballista on the top of the wagon. So we got some backup at least. As we approached, we were contemplating stealthy approach or anything else like that, when Rubick decided to behead our captive centaur who was dragging our cart and scream to the rooftops that the reinforcements arrived just in time for a couple of us to jump out of the back while the wagon rolled down and dragged Rubick and I think just Scritch with it. They had a little fun time getting up there while Rubick jumped up onto the walls and said, "We're here to help," then jumped down in front of the gate and just started slaughtering. Well, the rest of the team moved up the staircase and started to started to work our way quite easily through the centaurs. When we got to what I assume was meant to be the leader, I don't know, she died pretty quick. She tried to pull out a horn and signal, but we stopped that and then taunted her before we killed her with our own horn. She said something about her home. I can't remember. I can't find my fucking notes, so I can't remember the exact quote. And we ended off just as Rubick scared the last of the group that he was fighting into our welcoming weapons, and then the last thing that we did was Rubick grappled yet another centaur at the end of the session. So I think we're starting back up just as the fight ended, with all of the castle guards wondering who the hell we are, and one half-dead centaur looking out at a sea of his dead brethren as we walk up.
Correct. Now, would anybody like to add anything? I know there was a couple things. Obviously, Carnes didn't have his notes. I know there's a couple things that were missed.
They're electronic.
Sure.
There is one. We had a letter from Task Greenwall on one of the dead bodies of the other wagon of soldiers.
Yes.
Yeah, orders from Shannon Greenwall, which we assume is either it's a relative of some sort or his wife or something. We don't really know.
Okay, yeah, those are good. That's actually pretty good deduction there, like that.
And then did he mention that Scritch and Rubick kind of went back with the wagon because
Yeah.
Scritch failed to jump out? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that whole
Alright,
escapade.
Yeah. All right.
I don't think I explained why. I think Scritch tried to get out on time, but got his foot stuck, and then Rubick stayed behind to help him out before they
Yeah.
went further down the hill.
Well, the whole reason it was caused was after, like you said, was the centaur's head being chopped off when Rubick was declaring to these humans in the fort that that you guys were on their side.
Yes. The other thing is that Rubick scaled the wall, and apparently everyone else just decided he's jumping down. It's a bad idea, but we're gonna help him.
Yeah, that's our leader. We follow him through and through.
All right, and that's all I really have to add to that.
I really
Okay.
wanted some of the defending guardsmen to jump down with Rubick, like he inspired them, and now they're badass too.
You never know. They do have a general, though. He might have swayed their minds, but we'll see. So, with that, was there anything else anybody would like to add?
Yeah, I got punched in the kid by Dustin the Great.
Yeah,
Little
you
shit.
got bopped in the nose by Dustin the Great. He calls himself one of the children you saved.
The defender of the realm wagon. The
The defender of the children, at least.
sure.
Defender of their village children.
Someone
Village
give that
children.
kid a knife.
Yeah, be a little bit more specific. I like that. The village children. So, yeah, you also got bopped in the face by Dustin the Great. One of the children you are protecting that is in Grimm's wagon, as Carnes had noted. Any other little side bits or good and juicy bits of information for anybody?
Vree is also back in the wagon.
Right, we left the pets with the children.
Yes,
Yes.
The turtle was back there. Too.
and the
Yeah, I'm missing the dragon
your
turtle.
and your NPC friend, which is anybody remember his name or who he
NPC
is?
The Knoll
An
is
NPC guy?
Yeah.
The Knoll. Yes.
Yes. NPC guy. I mean, you're not wrong.
Right.
I got
So you guys-
I used it for him.
So you guys are still basically all standing there, catching your breath, covered in centaur blood. The battlefield is soaked. It's still it's still about late at night. The sun is still setting. Probably about a couple more hours left. You're not really too sure unless you obviously look further into that. But the sun's setting. It's still cool, brisk day. It's about 50 degrees, between 50 and 60 degrees. There's a slight wind coming from the north, going east. And you all just kind of staring at each other as it's quiet, but the only noise you can really hear is Rubick wrestling a centaur right here. Wrestling him back and forth kind of as if he's trying to pin him down. Not kill him, but pin him down. You can tell when Rubick's intentions are to either kill or to keep alive, so you could tell this is something a little different that he has in mind.
As he kicks me, tries to kick me away, I grab his leg and I bite it. You
hear the centaur scream as you see Rubick is biting the centaur. Now, actually, I did want to clear up something too. This was my fault. I wanted to clear up how big some of these centaurs are. Now, a lot of them are considered actually large. They are between 7. Most of them are about 7 feet tall. They can be between 1,200 to 2,500 pounds. 2,500 pounds. And they're actually very large creatures. Even their human torso is bigger than a normal human torso. So I just wanted to keep that. And that was my fault. I actually played them down. I downsized them quite a bit the last time. And I forgot who asked me, but someone asked me what they looked like in a sense, or how high, or how tall, and their height and weight. And I misinterpreted that. So I want to apologize and just get that cleared up.
You said they were 5 foot something.
Yeah.
the
See?
baby centaurs.
Yeah. Well, and they're actually. That is actually how it is in Dragonlance, but the 5th edition is different, so that's why I wanted to clear it up, and I apologize. So Dragonlance is actually the Dragonlance ones were what I was using centaurs. I should have been referring to the 5th edition ones to make sure there was no confusion. So I apologize. Just want to make sure that was cleared up. But yeah, they are not 5 foot. They are very much larger than that.
So these are full-grown centaurs, not ponies.
Correct. Not pony centaur.
Onion has called them ponytars.
Ponytars.
Mhm.
So yeah, these are bigger centaurs, and And you can see Rubick, a hill dwarf who's wrestling this giant centaur to the ground pretty much, is intimidated and screaming in pain as Rubick is biting him.
Bashir is going to jump off of Rask. I think I popped my healing spirit at the end of last session, so I'm just gonna roll that.
You did, yeah.
Yeah, let me just roll that because I did it at like 3rd level too, but my intention was to keep it on Rask for like a round and then put the rest on Rubick. So I'll just roll that real quick. Someone else can keep going while I'm doing that.
All right, so you see Bashir jump off of Rask, and you see he's preparing his healing spirit, kind of getting it ready and prepped.
I'm gonna run over and go pick up Scritch.
All right, you run over past Ivan, who seems to be just kind of catching his breath and wiping the sweat from his brows, and you can see you run over to Scritch. And Scritch, you notice Jack immediately just standing in front of you in the shadow of the giant, large shadow of him, kind of like covering you now as the sun's no longer in your eyes.
Scritch, are you okay?
Sorry, I sneeze. Apologies. Oh.
Yeah, Scritch is okay.
I figured with Misty stuff, you would have come with me, but it seems that's not the case.
No, Scritch stayed.
I shall remember for next time.
So you wish to pick him up then?
Yeah.
Okay.
What in the world is Rubick doing? Is he trying to kill it? Or what's going on?
Ivan kind of looks up too. What
Maybe
is he
he's
doing?
hungry.
And Ivan says, I don't think he's hungry. I don't know, actually. He is biting him. I could be wrong.
Is he trying to disgrace the heathen?
Rask is going to come up and say, if he's trying to eat it, his teeth are too blunt.
Ivan just kind of like looks at you, looks at you, Rask, and just kind of is like about to say something, but just like lets it go because you're not wrong. And he looks over at all of you and he says, I don't really know his intentions, but I don't believe he's going to kill this one since he's not using his weapons.
I'm gonna kill you!
Oh, never mind. I'm wrong again. Ivan just kind of like puts his hand on the back of his head and kind of like rubs it as if he's like a little uncomfortable with the situation of watching Rubick wrestle this centaur to death.
So Bashir is going to run up to Rubick on all fours with his little healing spirit running ahead of him and then healing Rubick for the 65 that I just rolled. As he's running up, Bashir is just going to scream at Rubick. Do not kill him, friend! We need him for information. His leader said some suspect things and we wish to question him. Keep his voice intact at the very least.
It's easier just to kill him. I'm gonna attempt to break its leg.
Oh, all right. Let's go with we'll go for damage. I guess go with a physical attack.
Sure. I am. What's it called? I am proficient with unarmed strikes.
Good.
Please declare it as non-lethal damage.
Yeah, right.
That's only if it drops to dead.
That's
You can
from
declare
normal
that.
memory.
So
I guess Rask is saying when it comes to that point.
Bruises his heart.
Lucky for centaurs, they have 2 hearts.
They're all Time Lords.
Shit.
One is located in their horse body, and the other one is located in their chest cavity.
all right, reckless unarmed strike.
Boom, baby! Wow. Okay.
22 to hit.
Yeah, you hit. You said you want to try to break his leg.
Yeah.
How much damage do you do?
I do, because I'm proficient, hold on. I do 1d4 plus 1 plus 4 plus 2.
Oh,
So, hold on. I need to roll a d4. Let me do that first.
What was this about not killing it?
4 plus 2 plus 1.
Ivan looks even worse now.
8 damage. It's not that bad.
All right, so you actually start to strain his leg backwards, and you can see you're about to break it as he's screaming in pain, and he's like almost like slamming his fist into the ground, trying to say "Uncle."
You're gonna keep fighting me. You're gonna try to run away.
And while this is all going on, you see the gates actually open up over here, and you can see a bunch of people moving up around the walls, and they're kind of like moving in different formations, and eventually you see a large fellow and wearing yellow and silver kind of approach out with some heavy armor, and you see he's also guarded very very heavily with a bunch of soldiers who come out as well, and they start to move the bodies over to the side and get them out of the way, and he says, "Oh, it seems like you have one of those bastards alive. Here, let me help you." And he's pull out a huge greatsword, and you see that he kind of looks at the blade as he smiles and says, "I haven't used this thing in a while. I thought they were going to actually break through, and I'd have to."
Bashir's going to stand in between them and the centaur, and he's just going to like hold up his tiny little kobold hands. Stop, friends! We wish to question this one. They are saying odd things when we've arrived. We wish to know what they are doing.
They're weird humanoids with, I mean, look at them. They're freaks, and he's just going to take his sword. He's going to actually stab this one that's bleeding out, and he's just going to twist the blade.
Rask does not take kindly to that. And he's going to step forward.
Ooh, okay. All right. You see Ivan he's about to grab you, but then stops because he realizes that, again, you're not wrong.
I'm a lot of not wrong.
Yeah, right. Ivan's about to... No, okay. And so you walk up, and you're sitting next to Rubick still, who's starting to come down from his rage, but is still freaking out and still, like, raging in a sense. Rubick, do you want to continue to try to break the centaur's leg, or do you want to leave him be?
I will relieve some of the pressure so he stops crying.
Okay, you see he eventually kind of like almost pretends to pass out, and he is sobbing from pain.
I just hang on to him and just stare at this guy that's just coming out and pretending like this is his prisoner.
He looks at you all and he says, well, thank you, friends. We appreciate your help. We surely thought we were going to have a breakthrough in the fort here. I greatly appreciate it. Who may I call you?
Bashir just looks up at Rubick.
Yeah, we're all just gonna look at Rubick.
I'm Rubick. we are the bone collectors. And,
yeah, tell him.
Ah.
And why is it a military establishment is being besieged by a bunch of centaurs? I shake the one I'm holding a little.
Well, they seem to be pretty upset that we moved into this territory, you see. I don't know. They've been freaking out ever since we got here and attacking the trade routes. They've not only attacked us, but some of the elves as well, to the north. But, we've been keeping the peace and been putting them down. There's also a couple other freaks they run around with, and trust me, you do not want to be out here at night. They tend to attack travelers and adventurers at this time. So, go on.
Oh, is the threat of these beasts then the reason why you don't patrol the surrounding towns?
No, we can't. Unfortunately, we actually are waiting for 2 platoons to come, but they haven't showed up in about a month. I'm missing over 60 men and women. He kind of like he smiles as he winks up at a girl that's up in the tower there. You can see he's kind of like he thinks he's a good-looking human, like a big player since he's got a good rank and he's more involved within the military and everything like that. But I'm not. You don't see me sweating. I was going to handle these centaurs, no problem. You see.
Well, here
it didn't look like that.
I let him go.
And you let him go, and you see the centaur just kind of like he panics and just like grips the ground and doesn't know what he's kind of like waiting for something bad to happen.
Here, mighty warrior, your enemy awaits you a proper challenge for one such as yourself.
Oh, all right. Well, if you don't want to finish him off, I guess I will. And he's actually going to step forward and kind of like with one hand swing the greatsword up, and you hear the centaur kind of crying and muttering something as he's about to come down with the greatsword.
Rask is going to step in though.
Okay, yeah. Rask is going to step in.
Already in between them.
Yeah.
Um,
What would you like to do? Do you actually want to try to block his attack?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that guy actually good looking?
Yeah.
He's actually.
Him.
he's actually a very old, like an older looking guy. You can see he's obviously served his purpose a little bit longer than it should be.
So he's a silver fox, is what you're telling me.
Kinda. Okay. Imagine the guy from Avatar, that the with the big blue people, that war general that was really like kind of.
So give me on like a 1 to 10.
Is he like a
I think
4?
I know what you're talking about.
I'm gonna say, like-
5 at least.
I'm gonna say he's at least like a 3.5. If he does his hair and like grooms himself, maybe he brings
3.5?
himself to a 4.
Oh, okay.
Well, he's got scars all over him, and he's an old man. I mean, he's not. I mean, unless you're into
You
old
can
looking
have-
dudes with scars.
You can have an attractive looking older gentleman.
Well, older
He
gentleman.
just isn't one.
Yes. He just
Okay.
isn't. He's got a big gut.
Does he have a curly mustache? Does he?
Let's see here. I will.
Got more
This is
than
what he's.
that.
If it's a 10 or above, he does.
There we go. That's kind of what he looks like.
It's a pretty hot dude.
That's actually not too bad.
All right, so he's a pretty good looking guy then.
I'd fuck that guy.
Oh God, I don't want to imagine.
I mean, he's got a metal arm, so why wouldn't Jack? Right?
Ooh, I'm glad you saw that. I'm glad you saw the metal arm there. So when he swings the sword down, Rask, I want you to basically block the attack by rolling an attack.
Okay.
You're decent looking at best.
At best.
I almost. I love how I had to go into that with you guys. That was awesome, honestly. I didn't think we were going to get that involved in his good looks.
Can I give him disadvantage because I insulted him during his backswing?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't really. Well, actually, yeah. Roll a. Let's see. I guess it wouldn't be a persuasion.
Roll a dis check.
I guess I will allow you either roll persuasion to persuade him that he is bad looking, or an intimidation to try to intimidate him or make him feel bad.
Ooh,
I will
they're
allow you
both
to.
the same.
I will allow you to roll either or.
Sick.
Well, you have to tell him which one.
Yes, you should let me know at least. I'd appreciate that.
I'll do intimidation.
Intimidate. Okay, so you're gonna say it kind of aggressively. And what do you want us? Can you say it one more time? Repeat that.
You're decent looking at best. Don't flatter yourself.
When you
She's
say
not that into you, bro.
while you're saying these things, you can see everyone's kind of confused as you sound almost like a radio going over like a commercial, and you see he's not really too thrown off as he's more preoccupied with killing the centaur in front of him, and is before you know it, but before the greatsword even kind of equals over the top of the centaur, you see a mighty swing from Rask, the lizard folk, who takes his glaive and stops it before it even comes downward in the centrifugal motion. You can see it actually almost creates sparks, and your wavering tipped glaive glows a little bit as almost a little drop of venom kind of splatters onto the road in front of Rubick. And you see the captain kind of steps back, and he draws his blade back and kind of unclasps it, and you see that he wields it now with 2 hands. How dare you draw your blade against me?
You
was
missed.
already drawn.
May it well be already drawn since we did combat, but you drew it against me. And do you even know who I am?
No.
An
I am Captain-
average-looking dude.
I am Captain Windsor Irongale. And I am the lead captain here, of course, leading Fort Carax, and you will show respect, mercenary. If you wish to challenge me or my authority, do say so before I swing my blade. And you actually see a guard run up and kind of whisper something. What do you mean being too hasty? What do you mean I swung before they said anything? And he's just going to kind of like push his guard back. Shut up, you. And he looks to you and says, why do you stop me then?
Bashir is going to look up. Because apparently, as he looks over at that guard, you have subordinates are smarter than you.
Burned.
Maybe
We
they...
came looking for Tass Greenwall. Sorry. We came looking for Shannon Greenwall.
Wait, did you just say Tass? Is he alive? And you see that he drops his sword and runs over to you and kind of like forgets all about the centaur now.
No.
You see he looks down, sad. Dead.
That would be correct.
You damn centaurs! You see he rushes over and he's going to jump onto the centaur now with his bare hands and try to choke him out. Do you guys wish to
Can I
stop him?
just stop him?
Yeah, you can. Do you want to just like push him? Do you want to shove him or do you want to grapple him?
Use
Can I-
Sentinel.
Actually,
I was just gonna use Sentinel on him.
I was gonna. I'll attempt to whatever he's doing. I'm just gonna like do the old like stick the foot out a little and trip him.
You're on the wrong side of him.
Oh,
The old switcheroo.
I don't see my screen's too. Never mind.
He's
try
right here.
and bear tackle his leg and do the same thing.
I wasn't looking at the map honestly.
It's all good. So yeah, after Rask mentioned Tess, he kind of walked away from where you were and walked over to Rask and kind of like stood right and face to face with Rask. So you want to use Sentinel then and just stop him from?
Yeah. I won't use like the blade. I'll just use the glaive, but not with the poison or anything lethal. $18 to hit.
18 to hit. That is actually a miss.
Can Jack like walk over there while this is all happening?
Yeah,
I don't need to be like right next to him. Just like
Yeah.
kinda-
Yep.
Yeah, you can start walking over. So you swing your glaive, hoping to hit him before he makes the contact with the centaur, and you see that he does end up like tackling him, and they are kind of like now like scuffling back and forth.
We have questions for the centaur.
And you see his men run over, and they try to like pull him away, and he says, "Oh, how dare you, you bastards! You killed Tess!" And he's trying to choke the centaurs. The centaur doesn't seem to be like trying to fight back. He's giving up and keeps muttering words that you're not really too sure of. But Bashir and Rask, and Sylvan, they basically mean I'm done. I surrender. I'm done. I don't mean any harm. Please don't. You keep hearing words like that. So
He's surrendered. Let him go.
roll persuasion, Rask, real quick. And Rubick or Bashir, did you guys want to say anything or do anything while he's wrestling the centaur as well?
Can I give Rask advantage by just like trying to translate as he's going?
Yeah, you could definitely give Rask advantage. That'd be awesome.
Okay.
Rubick's gonna. You said the other guy's men are like running up and like attempting to pull him off.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'll let this do whatever is happening
18?
right now. I'd like to do something.
25
Okay.
or 23.
Things resolve.
23.
Yes.
18. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. He stubbornly, begrudgingly listens to what you say and stops choking him. Is now just standing over him. You can see he's pretty heated though. He's really angry, and his guards are kind of grabbing both of his arms as he's trying to shove them away. Leave me alone. Get back to the wall. And Rubick, what would you like to do?
I just stand. I've just been standing there like with my arms folded, like just staring at this person. Just like what the fuck.
Rask is also kind of glowering at Rubick, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is all your fault.
You're not wrong. Rubick will walk up close, like in front, right in front of the guy, and I'll look at the whoever's in charge, and I just kind of look at him, and then I turn to one of the guys that's holding him. What's the penalty for attacking a prisoner of war?
The penalty is technically 3 lashings. He looks over to the captain. Give me 6 then. I don't care. And he spits at the centaur. If you're bringing him into the fortress, make sure I don't see him, or I'll kill him myself. And he's going to walk over and grab his greatsword, and he's going to walk away. Get back to the walls! What are you all looking at? And he starts screaming at his men as they all kind of like quickly move away and follow him back. And you see this guard actually right here says, "Thank you, my friends. We dare not fight the centaur. We don't wish to. They're just so angered by our presence here, and they slaughter all of our friends and family that even tried to make it this far. We don't know what to do, and we're not sure why."
Because you haven't questioned them.
What do you mean, question them?
Have you? Open the gates. Let us in.
Of course, the gates are open. You spoke of Tess, correct? His sister, and he looks over at you, Rask, as you also said his sister's name.
Shannon. Yep.
Shannon, yeah. He says, Shannon, Captain Shannon Greenwall would greatly appreciate to hear the news of her brother Tess. He looks down. I thank you for bringing us this news. He was a hero of us in Warrenheim. He was one of the greatest of us all. Thank you. And the soldiers bow to you guys, and you see all the ones on the wall too. They all bow to you in respects for you coming to help them. As much as Captain Windsor isn't very happy for you guys to be there in your presence and doesn't really agree with what you guys are doing, you can see his men, on the other hand, seem pretty sympathetic in a sense, or they seem pretty reasonable to deal with. So as they all bow to you, you see that the guards kind of go back to taking care of the bodies out here, and they're doing that while the other guards are now going back to their duties. And you guys are all kind of standing outside as the gates are still open, and the rest of the men of the fortress seem to be kind of going and doing about their own business now. They don't really seem to be paying you any mind.
Rask is gonna quickly run back down to the female centaur's body and pick up the bow and the remains of the horn.
Okay. Ivan's gonna go with you. Ivan just kind of doesn't want you to go alone, and he's also interested in looking around. Rask, where are you going?
The female had something strange.
Something strange? You mean the bow?
The horn.
Oh,
I
the
broke
horn.
it.
Yes, you did. Haha. And that's when I used mine, as he kind of waves his... Clever. That was a good move, by the way.
Can't have them calling for more.
Agreed. Good plan. Have you seen a horn like that before? Is that why you destroyed it?
No, hunters use horns to communicate.
Hunters. Interesting. I never thought of it that way. But good save, though. It would have been really bad if they had reinforcements come, especially when we were still out here. It's not a very good place to be out this part of the road.
Rask is going to point to the random piles of melted centaur.
Oh,
you did good job too.
Thank you. It's my alchemy that I'd have to praise, and he points to his brain. But speaking of which, should I go tell Grim to come back up the mountain and get into the fort? It could be dangerous at night, like the captain said.
Yes.
All right.
Tiny, scaleless ones need to come into.
You mean the children, Rask?
Scaleless, tiny things.
He just kind of looks like, is he trying to teach you children? He just we'll save that for another lesson. Don't worry. It's not really that important, anyways. Kids come and go, they grow, they get old. But anyways, let me go get Grim. He must be worried about us. And he's going to, you see, Ivan's going to kind of pat you on the shoulder. Thanks again, friend. And he's going to run down the path, and he's just kind of humming a tale, and he's da 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 da. We save the people. As he just kind of skips down the steps a little bit.
I kind of look after him, making sure he doesn't randomly trip down.
Just this giant spiral staircase.
Yeah.
Some of his bombs go off.
He rips his back again. He's like, son of a bitch. So as Ivan runs down the stairs to go get Grim, you're looking through the body. You're kind of looking over the body, and you can see that she's dead. She's deceased. She's no longer breathing. Her life signs don't seem to be there. She lost quite a bit of blood, as you can also tell from the wounds that you guys left. You also notice as you look over that the horn that had broken, she was actually reaching out for the pieces. So you can see her one arm was outstretched towards it, as if she was trying to reach for the pieces left. You look down at the horn, the fragments of it, and you kind of look them over as they're still somewhat in a small pile within about a foot diameter of pieces and little kind of chips and shrapnel that have fallen.
He's going to gather up all the pieces that he can, and then pick up, I guess, her bow and her quiver, and if there's anything else that denotes what, either her rank or what clan she's from or something, he's going to look for that and then bring it in.
Okay. You see that she actually carries a horseshoe around her neck, almost like a necklace with some feathers and beads around it.
Mhm.
And in Sylvan, you can actually see the first of the word of it looks like what on the necklace says on the horseshoe. It says hi, like HIGH in Sylvan.
Okay.
So you kind of look it over, and it seems very pretty, very well crafted horseshoe from a craftsman's standpoint. But you can also see it's very well decorated. You can see that this is probably their symbol. This is what they use for their clan, as it's been painted and had color and feathers and beads. Very decorative, and you can see it. She wore it very proudly. Her bow is still intact for the most part. It is. It looks like there were some front balancing pieces, 2 rods that she had that she would rest the arrow between that had broken, but the rest of the bow is still intact. So it is slightly damaged.
Okay. If he can find the pieces, he'll grab those as well.
Okay.
But he's gonna
find
kind of.
Oh, go on. I'm sorry.
Oh, he's gonna take the necklace, the horseshoe necklace, but like carefully.
Okay.
Not like yank it off of her, but like untie it and pick it up kind of gently, and then take it with him.
All right. You can add that to your inventory, and you find the 2 bones. They look like they belonged to an animal with large tusks, and you can see that she used these tusks to rest the other 2 arrows that she would shoot at the same time when she was shooting three arrows at once. And these tusks were broken off of the bow, so you grab those as well, and you can see that they're made very well and sturdy, and you're not sure if they're magical or not, but there's something really odd about them. So you kind of want to take them and probably do some later deductions on them at a better time. But you do notice that they're very rare quality from also another craftsman standpoint.
Okay.
So you can add those things to your inventory if you'd like. The only other thing that she has on her is 2 oat cakes in her satchel.
Okay.
You can take those 2 if you like, and you can take her satchel if you.
Sure, I'll take her satchel.
All right. The name of the captain, Rubick, was Captain Windsor. Hold on, I'll give you his last. Gotta flip my page here. Windsor Irongale.
Got it. Thank you.
No problem. So, Rask, you're doing that. We'll go actually over to Scritch and Jack, who's Jack's been pretty much doing some one-liners over there, being a good what is it? Something man?
Hype man?
Hype man.
A hype man. Yeah, there we go. You're being a good hype man for Rask, Bashir, and Rubick right there.
Cheer, boy.
So what would you 2 like to do?
Just make a rap horn.
Scritch is gonna cast Prayer of Healing.
Ooh, okay.
It's gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll do Jack himself, Bashir, Rubick, and the centaur.
Okay. The centaur notices you do this, and he looks up at you with very saddened eyes, but looks to you, and you can see he mutters something as if it's thank you or like bless you.
At this point, Bashir's going to be like sitting on the centaur's back as he's like tying his hands behind his back. Just sort
Okay,
of,
so
like,
you want to start tying him up?
Yeah, basically like grabbing some spare rope and then tying his hands behind his back so that he can't at least use his hands. Obviously, can't tie his legs together. But...
All right. Scritch, you heal for it looks like 11 hit points.
Yeah, 11.
Okay. Jack, you see Scritch kind of standing on your shoulder, and he just kind of raises his arms, and I'm guessing like a golden beam just kind of waves over everybody. Scritch, is that kind of how the spell looks in a sense?
Yeah, that's
okay.
Fine.
All right, so you see Scritch kind of stand up, and he stretches out his little goblet arms, and you see a big wave of light kind of just like wrap over everyone really quickly, and then it rushes through everyone, and you can see like a healing. You see like almost like a healing glow kind of rush down through everybody. You can see everyone kind of looks a little bit more lively, and wounds seem to look a little bit more faded or aged and healed than they did just moments ago.
Damn it, Goblin! I wanted that scar.
As Rubick looks at the one on his elbow and just kind of starts scratching at it and itching it.
Scritch is sorry. Scritch will take back healing.
He stabs me.
I was about to say he's gonna go up and shake Rubick.
Just comes over with his war pick and just like pierces
Yeah.
your arm.
Oh god.
All right. So Rubick, Bashir, Jack, and Scritch, you guys are all still together. Is there anything else you guys would like to do? Do you want to bring Centaur in, or do you guys want to discuss, or do anything else out here?
Yeah. So Rubick just kind of looks and turns to Jack and goes, you in the bush drag the beast?"
Bashir just looks down at the massive centaur that he's on top of. Bashir would be happy to speak with the centaur, but probably not help with dragging.
Jack?
How heavy are these things?
They can weigh upwards of 1,200 to 2,500 pounds.
So literally 100 times heavier than Bashir.
So like, how much does this one weigh, approximately?
He definitely looks a little bit bigger than 1,200 pounds, that's for sure.
He's a thick boy.
I'm going to need some help then.
Really?
Yeah, I can only push. Hold on, I think I might have did this wrong, honestly.
It's your score times, what, like 30?
Yeah,
the
so-
Juggernauts have like stupid high strength.
Yeah, I'm technically considered a large.
Right,
Like
That's
a,
just
a size up.
alone have like stupid high like weight capacities and sight lines and things too.
Yeah. Your size doesn't increase your whatchamacallit. Well, and then
Alright.
I don't know. Whatever, we'd start dragging him in, and then as we start, like, we'll tie a couple ropes and stuff to, like, to the bindings Bashir has put on it, and just like loop it around to something to grab onto for a couple of us, and then I start yelling at the other guards, like on the walls and stuff that are standing around. Say, aren't you gonna? You gotta bring that ram in unless you want the next centaurs to have siege equipment at their ready. And I'm gonna need rooms and food for 12 children. Clear the stables for 2 large creatures. Clear these corpses off the steps before they start rotting and cause disease in the fort. And repair this fucking gate.
Roll a persuasion or an intimidation check.
I wait a second as they all stare at me. I was like, no! And I'll use intimidation.
What'd you say about
Wah.
children?
Rubick, give yourself advantage because they were pretty scared of the centaurs that were just approaching, so they're a little shaken up.
They're not scared of the dwarf that's red right now and centaur blood.
Well, they thought you were ally, but this is where they're starting to discern you with this roll right here.
24.
24. Okay. So you see that they all kind of look at each other for a moment, and you see this guard immediately that you talked to and that thanked you, looks to everybody and says, "You heard him. Let's get to work now. We don't have much time." And they all start working together, and you can see that people are moving and hustling, bustling. They're clearing the bodies. You even see that bring these two over here, bring the battling ram in, so they get it out of the way. You see some of the guards up here. They say, "How many children did you say, Master Dwarf?"
Food for 12.
Of course. And she's going to. You see a couple of the guards are going to walk off and get that stuff ready, and you could tell by the way Rubick yelled to everybody and gave orders that they obviously will listen to you guys, and they're not afraid to help out. It seems either. Rask, you eventually climb back up the hill. I'm assuming when you're done looking at everything.
Yes.
Okay, you get back up there, and you pretty much get there as soon as Rubick is yelling all these orders, and you see all these guards now hustling, bustling.
I'm gonna hold the necklace up for him to look.
Okay.
The one that looked like a leader was wearing this.
You all see Rask approach, and Rask, you're holding it kind of more or less to show Rubick, but
Yeah.
do you allow everyone else to see, or do you just kind of want to keep it more to Rubick's vision?
No, it's for everyone to see.
Okay. So you step forward and you show everybody the medallion that the centaur was wearing, and you all see. Does anybody need me to describe what it was, or?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so it is a horseshoe that is decorated in beads and feathers that has been painted a couple different times with different colors of whites, reds, blues, greens, oranges, just many different colors. It looks like it's been painted time and time again. It even has like a nice fine layer of like a little bit of a rust kind of patina to it, and it seems very nice and very very well crafted. And it's tied to two nice pieces of hemp twine that were once wrapped around her neck, and you can see they've been delicately untied. Rask didn't just rip it off or anything like that. And Rask is now holding it in between his hands and showing the rest of the group as it's kind of dangling in the sunlight, in the faded sunset, as the sun is now setting into the west.
He is slightly like he's gonna stand between. Well, actually, no. Bashir is on the centaur, isn't he?
Yeah.
So I guess the centaur.
Bashir's just kind of sitting on
it.
him like a couch. Yeah.
Then I guess the centaur can see it too. Then.
The centaur does see it, and you can see that he is just like he just looks defeated. He's sad. He knows exactly who wears that, and he mutters something and smacks his fist as he grips the gravel in his hands, and he starts crying, and you can see like spits falling from his mouth as he's crying and muttering words.
I tied his hands behind his back.
Oh, okay, then never mind. His hooves. He's stomping his hooves then.
Okay.
Bashing his face.
And they're actually very flexible. I'm sure he can still smash his hands.
No,
They can actually reach. They can reach all the way around and groom their own tails.
No. I'm curious how he was doing it.
After that,
Actually,
I guess.
actually, for that, roll me a survival check too for that tie. I want to. I forgot to ask you that.
Yep, I was waiting for it. I wanted it.
And what were you doing, Rask? I'm sorry.
I was gonna say like after everyone has a good look at it, he's actually gonna hand it like tie it to the centaur, I guess.
Okay. You want to tie it around him?
Yeah, I'm gonna tie it around. Well, like, does he have somewhere that is not around his neck that he can tie it to?
Yeah. You see that he's still wearing a belt that has no weapons attached to it.
Yeah, Rask is gonna tie it to his belt then.
He looks at you doing this, and he kind of like you can see he's saying something to you, and then looks over at you as you're doing that, and you can see he looks at you as if the same way he looked at Scritch when he healed him. He looks at you with a little hopefulness in his eyes. And in Sylvan, the only thing that you can really make out of what he says is why are you doing this?
How would Rask respond to that? I guess Rask would try to respond in really broken Sylvan.
Okay. Roll me a history check.
Yeah. Oh yeah, history's just blank, just flat. 16.
16.
Yeah.
So you do remember how to say most of those words and get them into a good sentence of where it makes sense for Sylvan, and
So,
he looks.
yeah.
Or what do you say? I'm sorry.
So Rask is basically going to point at them, at the people on the humans, the fort guards.
Okay, on the walls.
And then
stuff.
point to himself and say, "Me, monster 2."
And he kind of smiles for a moment, and then looks at the rest of you, and is kind of like scared as he looks down the hill to see if any of his fellow comrades are there down this way. And all he sees is bodies being moved and thrown off the side of the hill. And he just looks kind of saddened as he can now tell that he's the last of his group. And he seems pretty complacent and just kind of like he's going to look to you guys and in Sylvan he says, "Where go?" Those are the only words you could really make out. He obviously says a full sentence, but
Yeah. I'm gonna turn to Rubick and like, we're going inside.
In the fort. We'll
Okay.
keep him. Just Bashir, you guard him. You're good where you are. We'll keep this one alive.
You're good where you are, sitting on his back.
And make sure the guards don't take his whatever necklace. This place is clusterfuck.
All
So
right.
Rask is gonna point inside.
Okay. So you point inside. And he's going to stand up with Bashir. He's going to stand up and not try to knock you off, Bashir. He's actually going to try to like get up gently and let you stay on his back.
Bashir's gonna move up onto his shoulders, kind of how he was riding on Rask's during the battle.
Okay. You're pretty tall up. You're pretty high up, even though Rask is also very tall. You can see that this centaur stands about 7.5 feet tall. Do the rest of you follow in?
Yes, Rask is gonna walk beside the centaur.
Okay.
Rubick is gonna go out and wait for Grim on like the path, and I'll shout up to like the sentries on the wall and say, "You see a wagon with two big elk pulling it? You shoot him, I'll kill you myself."
And you see that one of the guards instantly starts ordering and says, hold your fire on the next upcoming wagon."
And Rubick's just gonna he'll climb. Oh shoot, I don't have the pointer. I'm like gonna climb like kind of down the slope, like along the wall, and like I want to be like over here.
Okay. As you're about to run down here, you actually already can see, like as you get to the corner, you can see Ivan and the wagon are now coming up like right now around the corner. And you can see Ivan's waving to you. Rubick, I got Grim. The others are fine.
Good. Bring them inside. We're gonna stay here for tonight, I suppose.
And the rest of the wagon's now coming around the curve as they're rolling up each giant stone slab one at a time, and the wagon just kind of rocking back and forth as they're going up the stairs in a weird and uneven order. And Grim kind of looks at the fort and says, "Oh, great, another shithole."
You have no idea.
So Rubick, you're kind of talking to Ivan and them. Scritch and Jack, do you wish to follow the centaur, or do you guys wish to do something else?
Oh, Scritch, what do you want to do?
Scritch says follow Pony.
Then follow the pony we share.
Scritch
Alright.
Scritch want to ride next.
As you can see, Scritch kind of points to you, Bashir, as he's pointing to where you're standing.
The fellow has two shoulders, my friend. You are welcome to join.
Oh, so my shoulders aren't good enough, Scritch?
Scritch didn't say that. Scritch just wants to try Pony Man.
I'll set him down on the pony.
Yay!
You forgetting Screech is actually a child.
All right.
Scritch is gonna like wrap his legs, like sit on the centaur's back, and like dig his heels in.
Scritch says giddy up.
And the centaur kind of just like does like a little trot and then starts crying more as he's kind of...
Oh my god!
Oh god.
And some of the guards start laughing too, as it seems like you're trying to humiliate the centaur and you're saying this. "Oh, look at the goblins got the centaur doing trucks," and they all start laughing. And
this entire time
no.
is just patting on his back and saying like in broken, like very broken Sylvan, and like, "Don't worry, we are good people, I swear." Just things
I
like
swear.
that.
I feel like you guys say that a lot recently in a lot of these sessions. I'm just kidding.
We're
No,
not evil.
I had my
We're not
going
the
live-
bad guys.
I had my going live subtitle. We're the good guys, right?
Rask is gonna like pick up Scritch
Hello?
and put him back on Jack.
Hello.
All right, so you put Scritch before you walk any further. You kind of just fix the situation and put Scritch back on Jack's back.
Scritch is gonna like start pouting and cross his arms and just kind of like glare at Rask.
And
Be nice.
as you guys are coming up, Scritch, you actually see your warg jumps out the back of the wagon, is just kind of looking at you and wagging his tail, all excited and waiting for you to like get off of Jack so he can like lick you.
Scree!
And he just kind of like he like pounces on you and like pretends to like attack you as if you were like a little like mouse or a rabbit. And you can see how aggressive Scree can be and like how killer instinct he is, and then just starts licking you.
Down, boy. Down.
So you guys,
pick up Screech and like.
okay, you pick him up as he's just like dripping with drool, and Rask, you see your amberjack pup runs out and jumps onto your shoulders, all clumsy like as he's trying to climb up your body.
Rask is gonna help him up and put him use his hand to put him onto his shoulder.
And you can see he just kind of like starts licking the side of your face and like is trying to like lick your nostril, and like you can see he's like rubbing his scent on you and stuff like that. Like just very you can see very pup like very obviously a little separation anxiety. Not like obviously for a young pup like for amberjack is something that you can tell is a kind of a habit. Whereas when you were younger, you remember a little differently.
Yeah,
so it's very
is very confused, but also doesn't like the feeling of being licked on his nostrils, so he's just gonna shake his head and make sure not to like accidentally fling him off, but say no.
And you can see he calms down a little bit, but then starts getting affection again, and you can see you're just not used to it, so it's just something you're just kind of like you're happy about it, but you're like in doses, little amberjack, in doses. So everybody starts walking up, and the kids are even kind of curious. They're looking out the wagon that you guys are approaching now to the second gate, and the guards step aside as you guys are approaching. Thank you, heroes. Thank you for saving us. And they're going to step to the side. And you guys walk out, and you actually see the same. You see Captain Windsor, and he's talking to a Harper agent. Anyways, and he sees you all approaching. That's all I have to say. And he kind of pouts off and he goes inside this building. And you actually see that the Harper agent is a female half-orc who actually has a blue skin tone. Here, I will actually just this is actually what she looks like.
Oh,
How about her?
that's an executioner's sword.
Correct. She also standing next to her is a black wolf. With a red stripe of war paint down his forehead that looks to be glowing in some sort of orish way. She smiles at all of you and she says, "Finally, the rest of you bone collectors have made it."
What? We need to talk.
She smiles. "Of course we do. Rubick, the Great," as she bows to you, and she looks to the rest of the group, and she kind of looks over at the frustrated Captain Windsor, who stormed off in that building. "Perhaps you should come with me." And she's going to actually kind of walk you over, and she's just kind of like you can see she just has a bedroll and a little campfire set out right here.
Perhaps I should burn that building to the ground.
Rubick.
Oh, yes. I just sit down next to her.
Good guy.
I say I turn to one of the guys. You over there.
This guard right here, I'm assuming.
Yeah, whatever one. I
All
look
right.
around. First one I see.
Yes, sir. As you can see, he's talking to Grim, and he stops talking to Grim as Grim is asking him where he should put the wagon and like get feed and stuff.
After you get the wagon put into the stables, there's children in the back. They need to get fed and then put to bed. You're the babysitter. There's 5 gold in it if you don't lose any of them.
Roll persuasion. You can see as he's trying to stutter and he's stepping over his own tongue.
Sure.
Children need to be fed and watered.
Sense when.
17.
That was well said, Rask. I like that. 17. All right, let's see what this guard thinks of your words, Master Rubick. He looks around. I should get orders from a superior, and he's going to immediately run inside to where it looked like Captain Windsor was.
Why is he going in there? He needed someone superior.
I see what you did there.
But you guys kind of all walk over to here to where the half orcs been camping out in the Fort Carrick for the time being, and it looks to be a little small part of the corner where she just made it her own home. Her wolf kind of instantly goes over here into the corner and just kind of curls up and sits down onto a little pile of straw, and she is smiling at all of you as you are now kind of bringing forth a centaur that has been bound and is he's working, I guess, or he's what's the word I'm looking for? He's
Cooperating.
Cooperating. Thank you, Rask.
Yeah.
He seems to be cooperating actually pretty easily and a little bit more than she expected. And she says, "I can't believe you broke a Mustang. That's something you don't really do when you're just a common adventurer, you know." And she smiles at all of you.
He still needs to learn to giddy up.
You almost make her laugh as she puts her hand in front of her mouth and she covers her mouth. And what's your name, little goblin?
Scritch.
Scritch. She smiles as her fangs kind of glow around her upper lip as she kind of like gleams with a little joy. A pleasure to meet you. I have not heard of your name before. You're not one of the original heroes.
No. Scritch is new.
Oh, well, that is of course just fine, she smiles. If you can make it into this group, I'm sure you have some talents. She smiles as she kind of holds the word talents very kind of stretches the word a little bit. She looks over at Jack, who you were standing on, and then looks over at Bashir as well. In fact, I haven't heard of a couple of you. Well, it seems you've lost half of your group here, Master Rubick. Is everything going well within the Bone Collectors?
They're just too damn good, they get promotions and then get the easy desk jobs, and of course, you know how it is. Everybody likes that extra little bit of gold. But
of course, that's why we're here in this dump. She kind of looks around the human-built fort, and she kind of, and she's not very impressed with it either, you could tell, and doesn't want to be here just as much as you guys don't.
Also be careful.
Mm-hmm.
He'll convert you.
She looks. What do you mean he'll convert me? As she looks around at the sky and looks around at the ground and such.
Do you know about Skirt?
About whom? She kind of she seems confused. What are you talking about?
Skirt.
Skirt. I don't understand. I don't know what you're saying.
Scritch believes Skirt is an almighty being. I saw him.
Roll persuasion.
Once.
Just Rubick
hallucinating.
Rubick turns and he stands up and says, you have this conversation. I'll be back." And I go to take care of the children and talk to Grim and move the wagon and get the kids into the mess hall and all that.
Okay. So you're gonna go off and take care of that. Ivan's gonna go with you and help you.
As he's going away, Scritch is gonna look at him.
Watch out for that one. He can shoot the ballista now.
Rask will back him up. He knows where the bolts are too.
Bashir's everybody what the fuck? Why?
When did this shit happen?
That's Bashir's he's got his hands up why did you do this? That kind of face.
Rubick doesn't look back. He just kind of stutters in his step. And then just puts his head down a little bit and just keeps walking towards the wagon.
While this is all happening, the little amberjack is gonna go hop off of Rask's shoulder and go bother the wolf. Rask is gonna be like, "Kierna, no," but he's not gonna listen and just go bother him anyway.
You see the half orc, female just kind of smiles. Don't worry, he's friendly. He likes amberjacks. We've been to the Ember Forest long ago when we were both young. She smiles, and she's going to throw a large piece of meat to the both of them. And your amberjack instantly kind of takes to the formation of playing and getting rowdy a little bit as the wolf is trying to teach it a couple things. And she smiles, and she says, a scrawny one you got there, but you could tell that the scrawny ones are always the best at climbing. She smiles with her two tusks kind of gleaming against her upper lip. I'm an agent of the I'm the agent of the Harpers, you see, and I've been sent here to actually give you information on where your next location is going to be. There has been some changes. She looks hesitant to say. Unfortunately, with everything going on, there's actually a group of your own kind that went missing. To the north, across the Great Sea. From your new orders, it seems that you and your group have been chosen to go and find where they've gone missing, in a sense, and to complete their mission if they were not able to. But this is all I know, and this is the last of what the Harpers can do for you in this scenario. She smiles. Unfortunately, our stretch of our stretch of resources can only go so far. You see.
You should wait to tell us, because Rubick isn't back yet. But Rask is just gonna stop her. Wait to tell Rubick.
Ah, the dwarf. Of course, she smiles. And she looks to all of you and she says, "Are you hungry?" As she holds up some slabs of meat that have. It looks like it's rabbit. It looks like she's caught some rabbit that's outside in the fields nearby, and she's cooking it over the fire.
Scritch is just gonna start like leaning towards it and like sniffing and like start drooling.
Here you go, friend. She's gonna hand you a shish kebab with basically a roasted rabbit and some wild onions and turnips that she found.
Thank you.
There you go.
Rask is gonna point to her sword though. Go. Executioner? He's slightly confused.
She smiles. Yes, it was a blade. My father used it. Actually, he was the executioner in our tribe. I carry it with me now and use it actually as my main arm. If you can believe it, I used to prefer to use a bow and arrow, but I've grown fond of the old thing, and I can't seem to get rid of it. Now I'm proficient in the weapon and the arts of its style, yet very unseen in most battlefields. I prefer to use it myself. She smiles as she leans back and kind of takes pride in her achievement of being able to use this weapon and in combat and still survive.
Rask is gonna kind of hold out his hand and in like a questioning tilt of his head, like can Rask see it?
Ah, of course, she smiles, and she's going to stand up, and you can see she needs both hands to lift it as it's pretty big. And she's going to spin the blade around and hand it to you with the handle, as a proper warrior usually does. And you can see that she's no ordinary half orc, or she's not very uncommon to the task of war. So you can see she's pretty experienced.
Rask is gonna, I guess, grab it and kind of take a look at it in the fire.
Okay, you kind of look it over in the gleam of the fire, and you can see it's made of very, very precious metals in a sense of where they came from. Definitely not from anywhere where you've seen them. It almost seems that it's made of some sort of blackened steel or a Damascus steel in a sense. Very more hardened steel than you can normally find. A very rare steel, and expensive as well. You can see this whole executioner blade is made from that type of metal, though. So whoever made this put a lot of money into it, and you can see that she doesn't really know what it's made of or how much this sword would really be worth. But you know, as a blacksmith in the common market, that it would fetch a very good penny.
Is it well kept?
Yes,
it doesn't need any.
It's got its fair dings, and it's definitely seen a lot of combat and a lot of use. The butt end of the sword is also, it looks like she uses a lot. And that's actually kind of cracked a little bit, but other than that, at the butt end of the handle where there was once a gem is no longer there. Here, actually, I'll show you again. You can see that, like, where that red ruby would be.
Yeah.
Like right there at the tip.
That's
there.
missing.
Yeah, it's cracked and missing. Yeah, you can see like where it was that gold grommet that held the ruby is now cracked, and then the ruby seemed to have fallen out.
The setting is gone, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Is it something that Rask can fix? Not the gem, but like the cracks and.
Yeah, you could tell. You could tell this is definitely something of your. You could definitely, within your realm of capability, you could definitely take care of that for her.
Okay. Rask is gonna offer to fix it for her, basically, just clean it up.
All right. So you take it and you start actually heating it up a little bit, and she says, "What are you doing? What's going on?"
Stay.
Okay. She seems kind of confused and then sits back down, like looking over at Jack and Scritch and Bashir for like any like can one of you guys tell me what's going on?
Bashir will speak up as he walks up to grab a shish kebab and a turnip, and then he's gonna, as he's chewing on the shish kebab, he'll offer the turnip to the centaur. Rask is an accomplished blacksmith, quite good at fixing things such as this. Not in his work.
All right then, I suppose. Thank you. You see the half-orc female looks over at you, Rask. Thank you very much.
Rask is just gonna grunt, but because he's focused on fixing it now.
I've never really had anyone do that for me without... I mean, how much is it going to cost me? I don't want to get blindsided here.
Information.
Ah,
Go
okay,
Harpers.
okay. She smiles. Okay, no problem. I can do that for you. She kicks her feet back up. And you see the centaur Bashir actually eats the turnip out of your hand very quickly. You can see that as he does, you can see he enjoys it very much and smiles and says thank you in Sylvan.
Bashir's just gonna
The price your soul.
give him some comforting words, like don't worry, you'll be fine.
Roll a history check to make sure you can form that sentence properly in Sylvan.
All right.
Just terrify him. You will not be fine.
This is your last meal.
Bashir actually said we kill all of our prisoners before we feed them.
Wait, what?
Or after we feed them. He's an exception. You're doing it after,
Okay,
I
it's
guess.
just a straight roll.
Yeah.
Oof.
5.
You'll attempt to say that.
Okay. So you say this to him the best you can, and he kind of makes out something of what you say, and he just kind of smiles and then looks back down as he's still kind of saddened at the predicament of what's been going on. As that's going on, Rubick, you take care of everything pretty much to finishing everything up, but Grim is now kind of, you and Grim and Ivan are standing outside the stable, which is actually, it's right here. That's most of this is stable besides this section right here of these 6 tiles in a sense.
I'm sorry, can you point there again? I had to zoom out a little.
These
Okay.
these 6 tiles right here
Okay.
are basically like a little living quarters for the soldiers here. They switch off. They take time. That actually goes underground too. It's a bunker under here, in the mountain. This is actually the entrance right here to where that's where most of their stuff is.
Gotcha.
But yeah, you kind of you're staying outside of here with Grim, and Grim's standing inside the barn still as he's kind of petting his elk, and he says, "How long do we have to stay here, Master Rubick? I don't really trust these folk."
No, I don't either, but I suppose we should probably spend the night. If they weren't alone, and we've already met 2 groups. I assume there'd be more. Just they said that you haven't met him.
What do you
his
mean, more
name?
centaurs? More of those crazy horse people?
Yeah. The wind blower. I don't know, the guy that's with a name like a giant fart. He's the wind blower. Smell gal. He's
You actually see a guard run up. My lord Rubick, Captain Windsor wishes to speak to you.
Oh, that one. Yeah. I'll be there soon.
All right. Well, good luck with Captain Windfart. And the guard looks at Grim as he says this, and kind of like taken back. And what do you mean, Grim Windfart? That's not our captain's name. And Ivan says, "Don't worry, sir. It is just a joke." And Ivan's going to pat the soldier on the chest and says, "Take us to your captain."
Well, yes. Anyway, you wait. I say to the guard. I say, I need to say this. They were expecting 40 more troops to come to this, whatever you want to call this, depot, I suppose, and actually make this into a military establishment. And they never arrived. After seeing the slaughter in the towns we passed through, and the attack on the fort, it seems that they've become quite aggressive, and that it would only make sense that there would be more in more than one direction. They're nomadic. They wouldn't just simply just hang out in one area. They're moving through.
The one guard chimes in as he's kind of like as he's eavesdropping. So you're saying there's more of them going to attack us then?
I told you to repair the gate, didn't I?
Yes, sir. And he's going to run off. Actually, before you do, before he gets intimidated by you, roll an intimidation.
Sure. Oh, shit. Hold on. Ignore that. I'll just roll a regular.
Okay, that's fine.
Second one. Oh, 29. Oh, you can choose whichever one you want.
No, that's fine. He desperately dashes away. Sorry, sir. Of course. I just wanted. Oh, yes, right away. And he runs down and he starts repairing the door, as he's frantically running away even from where his post was. And it's not even his job is to go fix this door, but you're making it his job now.
Oh.
And Ivan looks to you and says, "You can't just keep intimidating these guards here. Eventually, they're going to call your bluff."
They're welcome to.
Oh God! Ivan just kind of like puts. And Rubick, the half orc woman, she said that more of us arrived earlier. That we weren't the only bone collectors to arrive here. So I'm assuming there was another group that came here before us.
Yes, it was supposed to be a joint operation, or there's supposed to be just more of us, I suppose. I don't know, or we were taking up a task. Yeah, it said something about that, but we were supposed to get the information here, and I assume she's the one that's supposed to give it to us. But let's get going before Mr. Windpants gets his trousers in a blow.
All right then. Ivan just kind of nods, and Grim says, "I'll go with the others. I'm going to get something to eat. I can smell something good cooking over there." And Grim just kind of licks his chops as he starts taking off his gloves and is like kind of getting a little more comfortable.
Grim?
Yes?
If possible...
Yes?
Can you get after the children eat, can you get them back in the wagon?
What? Why?
So we don't lose them.
What do you mean lose them? Who cares? I thought they were their problem.
No.
You're telling me we have to keep taking these kids with us?
No, we're not leaving quite yet. After they're done, put the children in the wagon and convince them with a game or some gold, or enlist Dustin the Great. He's a feisty one. He seems to be the leader of the squad. Give him a gold and tell him to get the kids in the wagon, and then lock them in, and it's for their own safety. And there's monsters out here. Woo.
That Dustin the Great already punched me in the nose. I don't like him out of all of them.
Oh,
as you can see, Grim actually has a bruised nose and probably a nosebleed at one point. As you see, he has a little piece of cloth stuffed in his nostril.
Well, if you don't do what I say, I'll give him a dagger, and the next time it won't be a punch.
Rubick, what the hell? He just kind of gets mad as you say that. Oh, fine.
Oh, you know I'm fucking with you, Grim. Just kind of
keep
the kids safe. Get out of here.
It's my turn, and now I gotta be a babysitter. Oh gosh! And you see, just rambling on as he walks over here, and you guys hear Grim as Rubick and Ivan go to talk to Captain Windsor, Rask, Jack, Scritch, and Bashir. You all see Grim come behind you, and he kind of walks over and grabs a shish kebab and just sits down in between you guys. And the centaurs even a little taken back as Grim's just muttering a bunch of, nothing's good, great, ingrates, don't take me for granted and make me be a babysitter. And he just starts eating the meat, and he's just kind of talking and kind of just invited himself, and just everyone's kind of quiet. And
Resk is just gonna very carefully maneuver the blade out of the way so he doesn't burn his cloak or anything on hot metal.
Jeez, Rask, what the hell is that thing?
Hers.
He looks over. Oh, thanks for the food, by the way, whoever you are. And she just smiles. I like this old guy. Who's he?
This is Grim.
Grim, you say? Is he another one of your adventurers?
Grim is our driver.
Ah, of course. Of course. So you're the one with that giant elk, the giant elk wagon. Is that you? Yes, that's mine. No, you can't eat them or sell them or have them. They're not for sale. I wasn't going to ask. She kind of puts her hands up and to surrender. I wasn't going to ask. Just curious. And Grim says, so what's going on? And he looks over at the centaur. Jesus Christ. And he just kind of like he kind of like moves over more towards you, Rask. Didn't realize he was sitting there.
He won't bite. I might.
Well, fine if you bite me. Lord Vulcan will still pay me. This guy, on the other hand.
But Rask is like finishing up retempering some of the stuff after like using a little bit to like tap out some of the dents, or like to smooth out some of the dents, and then he's gonna proceed with I guess whetstone grinding it.
Okay. Roll me a crafting check.
It's smithing, so
Or,
it's
yeah, smithing. Yeah. So I think it's
yeah.
Dex, right? Or strength.
No, it's strength for
Oh, it's a
that one.
strength check.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless it's like
Plus proficiency.
engraving work or something, and then
Yeah, it's strength for smithing, but if it's like leather work, I think it's dex.
yeah, or like inlays and engraving. I think it's supposed to
Yeah,
be
like
dex
the
too.
finer stuff, jewelry
anything.
work.
Stuff where you need like small tools and like a steady hand is like deck stuff usually.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you're using your fingers and not your palm, basically it's like dex work.
Smashing it with a hammer is strength, obviously, stuff like that.
Yes, I know. Yes, leatherworking has its own thing, but we're just talking about.
Ooh.
Well, then
Crushed
nat
it.
20.
Nice.
Jeez, Rask. I swear, you're crafting.
I'm really good at crafting things. Okay.
You're so good at crafting things. It blows my mind. Soon deities will hear of your work. No, so you actually you fixed the handle, and you actually strengthen what was left of the bottom of it to where that crack doesn't even look like it was ever there. You can see that she is amazed at your craftsmanship, and it's just kind of in jaw drop. Like she is literally just jaw dropped. How did you do that? And she kind of looks it over as it's still hot, and she doesn't really care. She's just so amazed at your craftsmanship.
Rask doesn't really bother to answer. He's just like, work. And then he's
You're
gonna finish
very
it up
skilled.
and then hand it back to her.
You are extremely skilled. She's so excited. Tell me, could you repair the rest of my blade, or does it need it?
The blade itself, right, is fine.
Yeah, the blade itself is fine.
Yeah, so
Just
like he
something
just
down.
kind of so he repaired mostly the handle and then the pommel, but I guess he took. Well, I guess before he hands it back to her and she asks that, he's gonna like look at it and say, "We'll take some grinding to get the
Grinding.
chips out, basically."
Oh, okay. I think they have a grinder in the stable.
Rask's gonna shake his head. He does everything by hand.
Oh, and he sees that she sees that you already have a grinder, like a piece
Yeah.
of stone to do that, and she's just, you can see she's very impressed. Well then, I heard bone collectors were unorthodox. I didn't think you guys were craftsmen even from your own backpacks. Jeez. And you see that she's so impressed. She says, "Here, tell you what, I'm not much of a smith or anything like that, but I am very good at making leather work. Here," and she's going to hand you a piece of like it looks almost like a piece of like over leather. It says, "It's actually a double layered pouch. You can hide things in there, important things. People won't know what's in there."
Mm,
So it's almost like it's kind of like a hollowed out pouch in a sense. So there's like an extra smaller, thinner part of the pouch where you can hide things.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Rask is gonna point to like by him and like go because he's a little bit preoccupied with taking a really long time to grind things by hand because that takes forever.
So while you're doing that, Jack and Scritch, is there anything you guys would like to do? Is Scritch, you're eating the shish kebab. Jack, would you like a shish kebab?
Does Jack eat?
Jack, Warforged can eat. They can taste and smell.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, if they want to, they don't have to though.
Yeah, they don't have to.
Yeah.
It's just it's if they like to. Like certain Warforged actually do enjoy eating human.
I'm just gonna kind of like hang out and just take everything in. Not really talking too much, but just
You're just learning and observing.
being present.
Okay. Yeah, you're kind of letting Scritch usually do all the talking, but yeah, you kind of look up to Scritch and looking around. Scritch, what would you like to do?
Scritch is gonna like get up and grab another shish kebab and go.
Jack don't eat, so I eat for Jack.
Help yourself. I killed plenty of rabbits. There's so many out here, it seems.
After
Oh,
hearing
God.
that, he's gonna like pause, grab a couple more shish kebabs, and go sit down real
She
quick.
starts laughing hysterically. As you can see, she actually holds her stomach and like throws back as she's laughing hysterically. And Grim kind of laughs too as he says, Jesus, Scritch, I think you grabbed more than your own weight. And he's trying not to spit the food out that he was eating.
Scritch has to eat for Jack. Jack don't eat, so Scritch eat for Jack.
What kind of logic? And you see that he kind of like looks down at the ground and says, what's the point of arguing with a goblin? And he just kind of goes back to eating his food. And
Rask is gonna pipe up though, and he
Yeah.
he says, "Scritch eats Jack's weight in food."
you see the half orc. She kind of laughs and she says, that is too good. You guys are way too funny. I can't believe your adventures and still have such a sense of humor. Most Harper agents I know are so stuck up and all secretive this and can't talk that and share emotions will get you in trouble.
Elwyn was kind.
Elwyn?
Other no, he wasn't a Harper. He was a Harper agent, wasn't he? No.
You see
No.
Grim shakes his head. No, he wasn't a Harper agent. It's another bite. But he was a good friend. He was a member of the Ember Citadel. He was a Grand Tracker, they called him. How? Grand Tracker, you say? I've heard of them, but I've never actually seen one. She kind of seems interested. So you guys were friends with members of the Ember Citadel, huh? That takes pretty fancy records. They don't really take too kindly to outsiders. They do trade, but they usually don't let too many outsiders into their forest or even into their city. You guys must have had a good seat with them. As she looks around the fire as she's like waiting for any of you to like say anything or kind of like a response.
Scritch and Jack didn't go.
Oh no.
No.
Oh, so you've never been. It's a beautiful place. You guys will have to go sometime.
Scritch would like to go. Scritch heard there was goblins.
And Grim kind of shivers at the thought, and he says, "Yes, I heard they actually got into a bad scuffle with some goblins before, but not the good kind, Scritch. Unfortunately, he goes back to eating his rabbit."
Rask is gonna interrupt
no.
though. Rask is gonna point to her, not really looking up, and just say name.
She smiles. Wow, I thought you guys were going to. I thought you guys were going to completely forget, not even ask me. She smiles. Very inquisitive. I will give you my name for that. You can call me Vree.
Rask's finger is gonna go from her to the wolf.
I am Vree, and he is Leon.
And then he's gonna point to the blade and kind of ask if it has a name.
Life Reaper. My father's, she smiles. He was once a great war chief, but then left because he sullied himself with a human female, tainted his own bloodline, and his clan banished him, decapitating one of his hands to make sure that he was never going to be another war chief again. So my father served a human kingdom as an executioner, doing the dirty work for them while we lived and squandered. I think back to those days when I begged for scraps. As she just kind of like rips a piece of the rabbit off and chews on it. Never again will I live that way. She's going to smile as she looks at the sword. Thank you, friend. I will always remember your craftsmanship and all of your kindness. She smiles and bows her head to all of you. Now tell me, where's that dwarf hero of yours? I wish to speak to him more, and I know he must have some good stories. And now speaking of Rubick, we will actually go to Rubick and Ivan, who is NPC'd. I will try my best. Bombs this, bombs that.
Oh, Ruby,
Oh,
please
no.
don't.
My bag ripped.
My back ripped. Oh my. I hope he's listening.
Uh,
So you guys get inside the small little quarters, and you can see it's actually for officers. It looks like that sleep on the side of the tables. So they're more ready and nearby everything, and you can see he's just kind of sitting at a desk. Ah, there you are, dwarf. I was meaning to talk to you. Now you're more than welcome to stay here as long as you like. That Harper agent of yours that's been waiting for you. I don't know. I guess you have some information or something to go over with her, but she can stay as long as she like too. But I do ask if we do get attacked again that we request your aid.
My aid, but you're such a mighty word. You would have been fine. I was just making the process expedient to get my wagon inside. The elk need a rest. They deserve it. You know how it is. Just service is slow other places. I just wanted to expedite the process. You know.
He looks to you and he says, I don't know if you're being serious or if you're joking, but you are staying here. The least you could do is help us defend our fort." As he sets his quill down and kind of and puts it back in the ink, and he kind of puts his elbows on the table and crosses his hands together. You know, I didn't think dwarves were freeloaders. And Ivan's gonna like kind of put his finger up as if not to say something, but then you obviously say something before he can interject.
Hold on, I need to roll dice.
oh no.
Oh, is there a way to make this so people can't see it?
Yes.
I think it's
Do
like
slash
slash
GM
W.
roll.
Yes, /GM roll. So that way it's just you and me.
/GM roll and then what?
Space.
Pound D20.
D20. It's the same as rolling, just the
I-
/R stuff.
Yeah.
I
slash-
use it.
Yeah.
/GM roll. Any spaces?
Yeah,
No
space
space.
and then 1d20, whatever.
Yeah. So like GM roll, and then your normal 1d20 plus whatever.
Okay, there it goes. Oh, that's not good. Oh. DM, you see that, yeah?
I see the number. I don't know what you want me to do with it though. What do you?
You don't need to do
is this
anything
for
with it.
Rubick?
That's
Is
for
this
me.
inner thoughts.
This is for Rubick. Just emotional stability.
All right.
He has that?
Oh boy.
He's been
Cheers.
working on it.
Bashir's just looking up as he's just putting his little finger to his mouth.
What's the room look like? Can you describe the room to
There are 4 nice decent beds. There's a couple shelves and it looks like a couple armor dummies that you can set. You can when you're doffing your armor, you can put them back onto the suits, onto the dummies, and you can see that there's 2 desks and a couple chairs behind you guys near the door. And there looks to be a door behind you and a door to the left leading into the stables.
How many guards are in the room?
There is only one other guard in the room, and he seems to be fast asleep in the corner.
Rubick is like visually red in the face and the neck and like the upper torso is like turning red as he looks at this guy and he says, "How much for our stay?"
You wish to pay me instead? My general told me that you were able to stay here for free, no charge. But
And yet
all I
you call
ask
me a
is-
freeloader. I call you a war criminal. And
He-
those lashings, you said 6 for attacking a guard? That's 12, then you did it twice. You're coming with me. I turn to the guard that's in the room. You retrieve the whip.
As you yell this, he's kind of standing up and kind of was about to ask what's going on, and the general says, "I've already received my lashings, thank you. I hope you don't mind, but if you want to cause more trouble in my fort, then perhaps we could bring this up to my general instead."
Where is he?
Go get. Sorry, I want to make sure I have the right name here. Go get General Graham. And the guard nods and says, yes, sir, right away, sir. And he's going to rush out and go retrieve the general. And after a moment of time, you see that the general and the soldier, the general, and it looks to be two others appear. Rask, Jack, Scritch, and Bashir. What are all of your passive perceptions?
18.
16.
10. I'm not very perceptive.
It's okay. You're too preoccupied with watching Scritch eat.
Yeah,
What are we
he's
rolling
eating,
for? Sorry,
eating
I
all my
went away.
meat.
No, what is your passive perception?
Oh. 13.
13. So everybody but Jack notices a bunch of people start to walk past over here. They're walking from this direction to where it looks like Rubick and Ivan were heading into the stables. And you see that a couple of them are wearing the same colored garb, but they look to be a little bit different than the regular soldiers around here. And it looks like one of them wearing very flowing robes and a staff is actually being walked next to by a Pegasus. And you three kind of see you three see this, and you're kind of just in awe. As Grim is also in awe. Is that a real Pegasus? He's trying to like catch the word in his mouth. Is that a real Pegasus?
You have many forms of horses in these woods, it seems.
How beautiful!
Pegasus, where?
And you see Jack turns his head in like a 360, and eventually like finds you do see the Pegasus staring at it, and pointing it out.
Pegasus. Scratch. Pegasus. See him. Pegasus.
As Jack is poking Scritch, trying to eat food.
Give me that. Pegasus, give me the food.
No!
Scritch is just gonna like
out of Scritch's hand.
So you guys are now arguing over a shish kebab, and you can see that Jack wants to give the shish kebab to the Pegasus.
He probably needs it.
Scritch needs it more!
I doubt
All
you
right.
need it at all.
All right, boys. Now don't fight over. There's plenty to go around.
He's had like 8 of those things.
As Jack is now like yelling at Grim. I don't know how much the goblin needs to eat. He looks like he eats a lot.
Calm your voice. There's a Pegasus over there.
Grim just kind of rolls his eyes as he looks at you, Jack. Jack, I don't think Pegasus eat meat anyways. Go give him a turnip. As he's going, you see that Grim is actually going to pull a turnip off of his, or not a turnip, an onion off of one of his shish kebabs. Here, go give the Pegasus that.
Oh, they eat onions. Duh.
Wait, is there something that Rask can roll to point out if they do or do not eat onions?
Yeah, you can roll. You can roll a nature check or nature or survive. Oh no, I said nature.
Oh boy. Rask doesn't know. I think they eat meat.
I don't know. I mean, my elk don't eat meat.
Give me a shish kebab and an onion. I'll let him decide.
Jack, Jack stands up as he is looking at you, Scritch, and asking for both of these things.
Or her. I'm not sure.
No!
Scritch just turns.
Shish kebab.
Scritch is gonna start just shoveling the shish kebabs into his mouth as quickly as possible.
Vree is gonna laugh hysterically as Scritch denies you, Jack. That you seem to be very close friends, and that he still yet denies you food. That's how much he loves food. She's gonna laugh. Just take another one here, and she's gonna hand you one.
I got the shish kebab. Yeah,
Do you have an
I'm
onion?
gonna feed a fucking Pegasus.
She starts wiping her eyes as she was crying from laughing. Good luck. Pegasus are very scarce, and they might not. This one might not be as approachable as you think.
When's the last time you saw a Pegasus?
She shrugs her shoulders. Good point. Go get him, Tiger.
Precisely.
And she
I'm
just
gonna
kind of like leans
fucking
back.
feed it, and I'm gonna take off.
All right, Jack starts poking at. I've never seen Jack very excited about anything, but feeding this Pegasus seems to be something he's very excited about.
It's a fucking Pegasus. How could he not be excited?
Jack, as you're walking, you stop the group from reaching the room over here, and you see that the woman, the soldier here says, "Halt! What is your name and what is your being?" And you see actually a gentleman right here wearing some nice armor and holding a parchment as he's reading. He looks up. He says, "Oh, these are the mercenaries I heard of, the bone collectors. Welcome, friends." And he's gonna. You see this gentleman wearing very different armor. He looks a little bit more unique than the rest of the men here, and he's going to offer you his hand as he's holding the parchment in one other hand.
So is he like reaching his hand out as like handshake?
The gesture of handshaking. Yes.
I can,
You have an onion in one and a shish kebab in the other.
Yeah, I'll like put like the meat and the onion like in one hand, like and like push it like up against my body, like I'm kind of like trying to balance it all.
Yeah.
Be like, nice to meet you.
And he's gonna smile and says, "Pleasure's mine. Any help from the bone collectors is a great help indeed. I knew Lord Vulcan long ago. He was a great warrior. In fact, I tried to get him to join Warrenheim a long time ago, but
yeah, that's a cool story. Is that your Pegasus?
He laughs. It seems you're not as interested in me as at all. It seems to be your Pegasus he's after. As he steps to the side, you can see a gentleman wearing a white mask. I'll actually show you what he looks like.
What kind of race is he? Like the guy I was just talking to?
He's a human. As you can see, he looks like that.
I meet humans like almost every day, but a Pegasus.
You see the gentleman that he's talking to is this gentleman.
Holy shit, he's fucking scary as shit. What's this guy's deal?
He looks to you and he says,
I feel like he's gonna take my bending powers.
The general looks to you and says, it looks like he's more interested in your Pegasus, as he clears his throat, Grand Seer Helion. And you see that this general, you could just kind of, you see his head tilts at you as he's wearing a mask. You can't really see his expressions. He says, "True, it seems that you are interested in my Pegasi. Please, you may approach him if you wish."
Does he prefer, and in one hand I'll have an onion, and in the other hand I'll have a shish kebab? Onion or shish kebab?
You are quite hilarious, my watch friend. Please offer any treat or delicacy or gift you'd like to my Pegasi. Let him make the choice. As the Grand Seer bows his head to you as a token of appreciation for bringing these gifts, and he's going to step aside and let you introduce yourself.
But just real quick, does he have a favorite?
As you say that, the general kind of leans in and he says, if the Grand Seer said that, present the gifts. Don't be afraid now. Go on.
Does he have an or she does it have a name?
The general looks over at the Grand Seer.
This is totally just to piss Caleb off and totally derail whatever he had planned.
Oh, trust me, the Pegasus arc is just beginning. Anyways,
it was all planned.
Like I knew you wouldn't catch the Pegasi and want to go talk to it. No, it's like waving candy at a baby. So you see that the Grand Seer looks over and says, "My friend here was a gift from the great deities above, and I call him Cloud Jumper, but unfortunately, I do not wish to give it a name or permanence, since I know one day it will leave me when I am no longer its rightful bearer."
Is Scritch still with me?
Mm-hmm.
Scritch, does Skirt have Pegasi? If not, he should get some. This thing is awesome.
If Scritch talks to him again, Scritch will ask.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I need to pray more. I'll walk up to the
Oh.
Pegasus.
The
What was its
Pegasus-
name again? Sky
Cloud
Sky
Jumper.
Cloud
call-
Jumper. That was
he
close.
He calls he calls his Pegasus Cloud Jumper, but does not wish to give it a permanent name, for it does not belong to him.
Hey, buddy.
And it just kind of it neighs, and you see it bows its head to you as it actually leans its 2 front feet down and allows you to pet its head.
I'll awkwardly like bow to it as well and kind of like slowly reach out my hand.
All right. You reach out your hand and you begin to pet the Pegasus. You can see it really enjoys the petting. You can see it's beginning to actually change color a little bit, almost near its fur, as its mood to like a light blue. And the Grand Seer smiles or kind of laughs again. It seems that the Pegasus is very enjoys your touch, even for a metal humanoid. You have a great gentle gift.
It's a mood horse. It's green. That means you're excited.
Oh no, run.
Do you want onion or shish kebab? And I'll just like hold them out. Oh no, a roll.
Oh no.
The Pegasus instantly starts sniffing each of them, kind of snorting at the shish kebab, the rabbit of it, but then it immediately starts chomping out of the onion out of your hand, and just like little bites, and is kind of playfully letting you feed it as it's enjoying the company and the attention of your of you in particular.
I'm just as he's like eating the onion out of my hand, I'm just gonna throw shish kebab.
You just want to throw it on the ground?
I'll just like throw it behind me.
Okay. Scritch, sitting on his shoulder, do you want to try to catch it, or like kind of like hang on to him and then stretch out and grab it before he throws away?
Yeah, Scritch is definitely gonna try and catch it. He's still hungry.
He's
Roll
gonna
me
ODB one-handed.
roll me a dex check to catch this shish kebab.
9.
You grab the stick, but when you do, the weight of the rest of the shish kebab, you see the meat slides right off.
No!
And the guard kind of laughs as
Startled the Pegasus.
the guard walks over and picks up the dirty meat. She kind of like wipes it off. There you go, little goblin friend. It was only on there for a couple seconds.
Oh, thank you.
She smiles. The general says, "Don't let him eat that. It's been on the ground, friend. You don't have to eat that." As he sees that, you just basically, I'm assuming,
Scritch already
shove
has
in
it
your
in his mouth.
Yeah.
He's eaten much worse things, trust me.
Oh Jesus! The general just kind of shakes his head as he goes back to reading his parchment. And Scritch, you make the guard laugh as she just kind of laughs at your immediate shoving the meat into your mouth, as like no questions asked in a sense. The Grand Seer looks to you and says, "My warforged friend, perhaps you could watch my Pegasi for the time being."
Insight check?
Can we ride him?
You may roll an insight check.
Well, 13.
You can see, judging by just the tone of his voice, that he seems sincere in that he obviously has something going on, and that he is sincerely asking you to watch his Pegasi for him. That you seem very interested in it.
Are you kidding?
No, of course. Why would I kid about such a thing? He is.
I would love to.
He is one of my best friends. You see, I've known him for several years, and I would not leave him in the care of just anyone you know. As you can see, he's kind of giving you that like trusting, like, hey, I know this is the first time we're meeting, but from what I've heard of you guys, you seem to be quite outstanding, more outstanding than just normal adventurers.
Yeah, I'll totally watch your Pegasus.
Perfect. I appreciate that, my friend. Thank you. Now let's get going, General Graham.
What do I have to do, though? Is he kind of like just take care of himself, or does he need to be walked?
You see the Pegasus starts
flown?
trotting around you and then starts kind of like rubbing up against the side of your arm as it's itching itself. Oh,
Also,
look,
is it a boy or a girl?
Cloud Jumper is a boy, and he looks over at
totally knew that.
As at least as the way it was described to me. It could be something different, but I've never been corrected before. You should also know. Be careful though that he does get quite playful. It might take some try to remove a parchment or a scarf from your pockets or off your shoulders. He does enjoy fabrics and paper. He looks to the guard. If anything goes wrong, just come get me. And the Grand Seer is going to nod to you all and says, "General, we must get going. I wish to speak to the leader of their group." As he kind of is talking about you, the bone collectors. It was nice meeting you both. And he's going to bow to both of you. Your names?
I am Jack.
You are Arf Arf.
Arf arf. Scritch is gonna hurry up and like chew the food.
Swallow it, yeah.
Scritch.
Oh, Scritch. What a wonderful name for a goblin. He smiles. Or doesn't smile, but you can see he's just very, very polite about it. Very, I guess, energetic in a sense. And he instantly looks over to you, Jack, or down to you. And as you're being rubbed up against by the Pegasus, he says, "And your name is Jack, you said."
Yes, that's true. Who's
Thank-
it, boy?
Well, roll an animal handling check, actually, as you're starting to pet and rub the Pegasus.
Well, shit.
Well, fuck. It's fine. We'll do fine.
Eric's like, now's a
Oh,
good
you're
time
fine.
to tell you that this -4 in animal handling is going to show, right? 18. Wow. You see the Pegasus is kind of almost like playing with you and like kind of like licking your hands and like nibbling the ends of your fingers. Not hard, not like biting them, but like nibbling them, kind of playfully trying to get your attention. And the Grand Seer seems very enjoyed by this this reaction and says, Cloudjumper seems to really take a liking to you, Jack. Thank you again, my friend. And the Grand Seer is going to bow, and so is the General and this other woman. And you see the other woman seems hesitant that's standing there, and she seems to be actually wearing the same garb as Captain Windsor. But she seems hesitant to ask you anything, but then stops. Says, "Let us get going. We should go speak to the leader."
DM,
Yes.
how long has it taken for this to transpire?
Not very long.
Like minutes, like actual time, at least.
Oh, for them to go get him, yeah, because they got stopped. I would say at least 15 minutes have gone by.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
So you're standing there. It's been very quiet, and you're still fuming.
Well,
Don't you fuck this
I
up
would
for
like
me.
to do something during this.
Okay. Well, I actually, because you did get interrupted by Eric, not in a bad way, but just in a role playing aspect way.
That's fine.
We're gonna hold off there. We're actually gonna take a break.
Okay.
So we will regroup at 9:32 p.m. Eastern. So whatever your guys' time is, obviously just 10 minutes. If you guys need any longer, just throw it in the message thing and let me know that we're gonna be expecting you a little bit longer or later, and we'll get moving from there. But the next part is gonna be Rubick.
God.
So,
All right.
shove
This is
attack.
fine. This is fine.
Natural 20.
Oh God.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Amazing.
Oh my
I
god.
love Rubick. He's my favorite.
I love. Oh my god. This is the Rubick. All I picture is Rubick is the incarnation of what Dan wishes he could do in people.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So Rubick grabs Captain Windsor by the belt, pretty much like a little spoiled brat who threw a tantrum, and he's basically going to get him right next to the door. 1, 2, and on 3, before he even does 3, just whips him through the door as hard as he can. You natural 20 him through the door. How do you want to do it?
So
Like, how does he go through? Like, how do you launch him? Do you like face first or?
I kind of pictured it that it was all kind of like one. It was kind of like one motion. So like as I grabbed his arm, and he kind of like slumped to his desk, and then I kind of grabbed his belt and like pulled him over, and then I kind of like
With the momentum, use that to whip him through the door.
yeah, I kind of just like turned and started sprinting towards the door with him, and then used him as like legitimately a battering ram. But like I'll say I did him ass first
Okay,
into the door, so I don't like break his neck.
and ruin his pretty face. Ting.
Well, not so worried about that, but he still has 6 lashing. You need to be alive for that.
So you throw him through the door. You natural 20 him. He breaks through. Is Ivan's reaching for the door handle? He just goes. You just see I'm sorry, I keep calling him General. Captain Windsor basically gets whipped right through the door, ass first, obviously. And when he does, he flies right forward and lands right in front of the Grand Seer, who luckily is able to stop him with some sort of magic.
And Rubick's just super pissed. 6 lashings! I start pulling up rope. Where's our post?
And the general, you see the general here, and he says, well now, Captain Windsor, it seems that you have a friend here. And you see Captain Windsor's actually knocked out cold from getting thrown through the door. So he's just a rag doll that is being animated by magic.
This won't do. I approach and I grab him up by the cuff and I shake him a little and I'll lay on hands 2 hit points.
All right.
oh.
So you shake him a little bit, trying to wake him up, and you see the general laughs and says, it seems that he's caused you some sort of quarrel, friend. Tell me, what does my captain here owe you?
Respect and 6 lashings.
He
For
looks
attacking a prisoner of war.
He looks at Captain Windsor and he says, he attacked a prisoner of war.
Twice.
Where is my prisoner then?
With the bush. He's over there. I point down the way.
Okay, good then. I will take the lashings from my captain, for he is unconscious, and I wish to pay for his retribution. You see, he's going to uncloak his tunic and start removing all of his gear. And Captain Captain Shannon, please take my things. Yes, my lord. And you see this woman steps forward, and she's going to take his things. And the Grand Seer kind of looks at all of you and says, "Does this really need to be done right now, friends? Can we not forgive and forget these transactions? They are only petty in the world of what we live in." And Ivan kind of looks over at you, Rubick. Well, maybe we should listen to that guy with the mask.
Rubick's just staring at the guy with the mask. Like, who the fuck is this?
The captain, as the general is taking off his things and now with no shirt on, he says, please at least show him respect. He is the Grand Seer Helion. He is a great mage that has been that has been helping us from the creation of the Circle of 8.
And Rubick's like just taken aback for a minute and just, how is it that an intelligent person like yourself allows an imbecile like this? And I kick him a little bit, the guy on the ground, like in charge of your fort.
I'm sorry, the general. Are you talking to the Grand Seer or the general?
The whoever seems to be most in charge.
The general. The general seems to be in charge of this fort. The Grand Seer seems to be just here. The general smiles and says, "Trust me, Captain Windsor here is hot-headed and very stubborn, but he is very loyal and one of the greatest soldiers I've ever had fight by my side. He can be stupid, though, at times, trust me. He's gotten his mouth into us, or his mouth has gotten us into a lot of trouble, I'll needless to say. But, my friend, if he has wronged you and has wronged and hurt the prisoner of war, I will take his lashings for him, please. I ask you to just, all I ask you is to forgive his misdoings, and to not shine the light of Warrenheim in such a bad one. Please. And he's going to point it over here, actually, right to the corner. And right here is a tall, thin post that's been driven into the ground very deeply. And he says, over there is where we give the lashings.
Now, would I know that this is a thing in, like, the military, or that you can, like, receive punishment for somebody else, or do I have to roll for something?
In your dwarven ways, most dwarves don't ever do this. You've never really, and they don't punish them this way. Most of the time, its punishment is like you're banned from working in the workshop, or you can't come back to the shop for a couple days, which would drive a dwarf of a master craftsman insane. So you kind of can tell that you've never really seen any but you do in military. There is punishment, physical punishment. But this is weird to you. You've never really seen this type of gesture before. The only thing that you could think of is possibly because he is his superior. This would be the only reason why he is suggesting this.
But the general's superior to this guy?
To the captain, yes.
Okay. Now, like, I see that there's all these guards, like, hanging out around. Mm-hmm. I've caused a scene.
Yes, they are watching.
All right, that's...
They were watching the moment you threw Captain Windsor through the door.
I say, oh, there's no need for that. I think we've got the point. I'll kick him again.
And you kick Captain Windsor, and he kind of makes like a grunting noise. And Ivan just kind of like elbows you. Stop it, Rubick.
I kick him again.
Rubick, come on.
Don't tell me what to do. Just kick him again.
And the Grand Seer laughs and says, "You must be Master Rubick."
Aye, that's me, and who be you?
My name is not important. What is important is the quest that you and your group will be going on, if you so choose to take this path.
Yes, I've been... This is what we came here for, not to defend this fort and deal with this fool. And I go to kick him again, and I stop. I push him a little with my foot.
And the Grand Seer looks both you and Ivan up and down, and he says, "There is many things to do and many places to go. You and your group will be traveling to a new world. I wish you the best of luck." He's going to bow to you. "I must be going, though. I only wish to have met you, the heroes of the Ember Citadel."
Well, at least somebody has some sense around here.
And the general's going to look over and he says, "Grand Seer, these were the gentlemen you were telling me about." Yes, these are the gentlemen that saved the Ember Citadel from destruction.
Killed a lot of elves, I did.
I don't know if you can call them
And
gentlemen.
demons.
The general just kind of laughed, but you could definitely call them men. Hardened warriors, in fact. Heroes in my book, and I appreciate what you've done for those elves. Not only did you help them, but you helped the human nations as well to the south.
Kreska's gonna poke his head around the corner because he hears Rubick shouting.
Okay. So does Grim.
I just picture it. Just like...
It's like in the anime where there's a wall, and then it's like someone's at the bottom, and then someone's right above them, and then right above them again. It's like a little tower, totem pole of people peeking around.
I imagine it would be the centaur's head, and then Bashir like sitting on top of it.
So you guys are all very curious as to what's going on as you see all these people of kind of significant power are talking in a sense. And obviously your Master Rubick, your guys' leader, Rubick, is talking to these people. Rubick, you see the Grand Seer just steps back as the general looks to you and says, "Well, however long you need to stay here for, you're more than welcome to. I know that Harper agent was itching to talk to you as well. Another group of your kind passed through here not too long ago, about a month.
a month, you say?
Yeah, about a month ago. Not too long. If you are here to stay and help us, I would greatly appreciate it. These centaurs have been nothing but a pain. But I can understand if you have orders. Lord Vulcan, I know he's a one to never rest. He always keeps moving, as far as I've always known him. How is he doing, by the way?
He's doing good, and he's keeping my gold pouch filled and something ready to cut.
Yes, he's always paid his adventurers quite well. In fact, I know that's why most people go to him, is for the money that he can offer.
But enough with Vulcan and all that. You said you had I'm sorry. This fool said you had reinforcements coming. He said 40 men. Did he mean 4 men?
No.
Or did you lose a whole battalion?
No, it was actually 2. But there should have been 2 battalions of 30 men each, making it a grand total of 60 that were missing. They're not just soldiers; they were also craftsmen, civilians, citizens that were going to be working here at the fort. As far as I can tell, they've all been missing in action. They left Warrenheim Citadel, or Warrenheim Castle, not too long ago. It only takes a month and a half travel here by wagon. And from last reported, they reached a small halfling town that was just far east of here. Schnorwood.
What direction did we come in from? We found the town.
You came from the west, technically coming to the east.
I fear that if you have danger to the east, that you're mostly surrounded. Then that would prevent 2 battalions from coming all this way from the direction we came. I'll look at their guards and stuff. They're all still paying attention.
Oh yeah. They're all still listening in on the conversation because they really want to know what you like. They want to know more about you guys. They're very curious as to who this group, the Bone Collectors, are called.
We shouldn't speak of this here. Let's go inside.
Of course. And all of you are going to walk inside of the room here, as the rest of you guys are kind of standing all out here, still kind of like eavesdropping. But now that you can see they go inside, it's now quiet. You can only hear muffles.
What does that say?
Rask probably would have placed bets. Would have wanted to place bets on if Rubick was actually going to kill Captain Windsor or not.
Grim smiles. I'll put money that he does kill that bastard.
Hmm.
Yeah, but she'll wait until he does something to anger him again.
Jeez, you really think he'll kill him? The half orc female just kind of seems nervous.
He'll probably beat him within an inch of his life, but he won't kill him.
The centaur looks over as he's kind of also in the same predicament, and then looks down at the ground as if that's his fate as well, and looks super sad and depressed.
Rask also realizes that he still has the half-orc sword and hands it back to her because it's pretty much done.
I appreciate that, and she's going to smile. I hope that pouch does you even just 1 ounce of good that this sword will bring me. And she's going to hold up the sword into the fading light of the sun that is now just about set, as it is now becoming a crisp, dark light. The stars are out, and the moon is out. There are a little bit of clouds. It is starting to get a little cooler out, dropping to about 40 degrees. And you guys are all kind of adjusting your eyes to the difference in light now that the sun is gone.
Okay. Rask is also, at the same time as handing her the sword, he's going to hand her a small vial of oil.
Okay.
For oiling the blade.
Oh, thanks. I guess I should be oiling it more. She kind of seems embarrassed that she hasn't been.
I can tell.
Well, long ago, my father had pig fat still, but that's all gone now. I kind of, been shirking the responsibilities. She seems a little upset, or kind of disappointed in herself. Thank you, though, friend. It made me realize how important I need to keep up on my blade, and how much I've let it go. My father would be quite disappointed to see his prized possession like this in such a matter. I won't forget this kind deed. She smiles.
Life Reaper is a good blade.
And she's going to sit back down at her spot and just kind of relax. Well, it sounds like your leader there, Rubick, is quite a handful and at least knows what he's talking about.
Mm.
Bashir is going to look over in her direction. He's still sitting on the captive centaur's shoulder. Vree was your name, yes?
Yes, you can call me Vree. She smiles.
Bashir has questions for you.
Perhaps I can answer them. It depends. I am a Harper agent. My information is very delicate.
Do the Harpers understand why these... He's like tapping on the shoulder of the centaur he's sitting on. Why these folks are attacking the humans?
No. She shakes her head. Unfortunately, what the Warrenheim people do is none of my concern. I wasn't sent here for them. But from what I can hear, the battle cries of the centaurs when they are coming here, I can hear them screaming for their home, and that they will kill these intruders. So it sounds like the Warrenheim people are just moving in on their turf, and these centaurs aren't taking very good liking to it.
Bashir is going to look at her a little quizzically. You speak their language, and you have to understand them.
I can speak Sylvan, yes.
Would you help Bashir and the others with the translation with our prisoner?
She kind of like she kind of like laughs. None of you speak Sylvan.
Bashir just holds his hand up and like does like a little bit type thing.
She shrugs. Yeah, I'll help you. Since Rask here helped me, she smiles. I'll be glad to help you all. Just don't tell my leader. She winks at you both.
Rask is actually going to point to the horseshoe that's on his belt and say, "There's writing."
Writing. She looks at it. Oh, yeah. Let's see here. Hylios. Just says Hylios.
Meaning?
It has no meaning. It must be the name of their clan, perhaps. All centaurs always have a clan name.
Rask is going to parrot the name to the centaur, kind of tilting his head.
When she says Hylios, you can see the centaur's ears kind of like move back and forth a little bit as he can tell the name. Oh, well, he seems familiar with it at least. That's what's been engraved on this horseshoe at least. I could be wrong.
Could be name of centaur?
Could be too.
Yeah. I guess Rask is going to pull out the bow now and kind of start fiddling with it and seeing if he can repair the two tusks.
The centaur sees you pulling out the bow and he struggles as he gets angry for a moment, and Grim pulls a dagger and puts it to his throat. Don't be moving so fast, friend. We don't want to hurt you.
Bashir just shoots a glare at Grim. This one is not a threat, Grim.
Well, he's trying to move like one. No offense, he got a little struggly there when Rask there pulled out his bow.
You would be...
Rask, you think he's okay?
Sorry, what?
He asks. He looks to you. He says, "Rask, do you think this is okay?" As he's holding the dagger.
Rask just kind of waves him dismissively.
And he looks to you, Bashir. Sorry, Bashir. I just want to make sure. He sheathes the dagger.
Understandable, friend, but you would be angered too if you saw a friend's weapon in another's hands.
Damn right. I'd kill him. That's why I'm surprised the centaur isn't trying to struggle hard. No offense. Don't think anything funny as he points to the centaur.
Yeah, this one seems to have the restraint, far be it more than Rubick ever could have.
Vree kind of like looks. She throws like a piece of like a twig into the fire. Once you break a Mustang, it's tough to make him wild again. Grim kind of thinks about that for a moment as he understands it when he's been driving.
Bashir's gonna look at Vree. Can you ask this one's name? As he pats on the centaur's head.
She asks for his name, and he doesn't say anything. And you see, after a moment, he says a couple of words. And she says, all he asks is for all of you to get out of his home and to leave his people be.
Bashir's just going to get off of the centaur, but just like right below him.
Okay.
Kind
You're
of
gonna
like wave at him to get him to look down.
And the centaur looks at you with sad eyes.
He just kind of glances over to Vree. Would you mind translating?
She nods.
He looks over to him. We are not with these humans. We are of our own accord. We do not wish you harm, and we do not know of your struggle, but we are willing to hear.
Roll a persuasion check with disadvantage.
That's not one of Bashir's strong suits. Yeah. That is an unnatural one.
All right. You see that she describes this, and the centaur just repeats the same thing. Please leave our land and leave my people be.
Bashir will sigh and then look over to Rask. Any ideas, friend?
So Rask, you continue to look at the bow, and you can see that you could definitely fix the tusks of where they used to be, and probably bring it back to the integrity it once was.
Do I have enough pieces to cast mending on it to get kind of it back into a rough shape? Well, correct shape.
You'd have to go back down and grab a couple more pieces, and you could tell after that, like even the smaller like shards, collect them, and you think after that you know you can mend it for sure.
Would it be easier to do that, or would it be easier just to try and fix it now?
You know you have bone. You know you have pieces of bone and other materials that can replace it. So you know you could do it one way or the other.
Okay.
Like for you, it's almost like which way would I rather craft? Like how do I want to?
Right.
That's what your biggest question is. Instead of like, well, I can't really do this. Your craftsmanship is so well that for you it's just however which way you would. Which I guess for you would be easier then, right?
Yeah. Well, it'd be easier if I just did it my way. But the question is what I'm gonna do with the bow afterwards.
Ooh. Okay.
Because if I'm just gonna give it to Bashir or someone else to use, then I'll just use my own stuff. But if it's gonna be like presented back to the centaur as like a thing of goodwill, then not like right now, but like if for some reason we're going to go visit them, I would probably want to repair it properly with the original materials. So,
right.
Is it too big for Bashir to use?
Bashir can use a longbow.
Right, but you're small, right?
It's probably built for their arm span.
It is built. It is built for a large creature. Yes. So no, you wouldn't be able to use that. It would be way too. It's like that giant two-handed hammer you found from the other other centaur. It's just
okay.
It's just physical
with his feet.
Yeah. You would need a couple
like
cobalt.
rowing.
This one,
you're rowing every single time you're trying to draw and shoot the bow. Put your back into it.
Just hands it to Rask. You draw it and I'll shoot.
Okay, then Rask is gonna put it down on the floor by the fire, and he's just gonna walk off without another word and go back outside to try and look for the bone shards.
Okay. So you're going to take a hike outside just to look for the materials and see if you can find the rest of them and kind of fix up the bow.
Put it back into its original condition, not just restored, but in its original condition.
And you see that there's actually still a couple guards out here working on cleaning up everything out here, and they bow to you as you walk by and be careful out there, it's getting dark, as one of the guards says as you start to leave.
Rast just kind of like waves back at them, not looking back, but like waves a hand acknowledging that they said something, and just keeps going.
Okay. So you kind of wave your hand at them, at least acknowledging them, but not really saying too much, and you're going to head back down to where the bone shards were, and you find the spot actually, and you start picking them up, kind of like finally picking through the grass, and you're using your claws and picking up the pieces with
like
tweezers and kind of putting them into your palm, and you're kind of raking through the grass, and you're finding a good chunk of the pieces. While you're out there looking, we'll go back actually to Scritch and Jack with the Pegasus. The Pegasus is playing with you still, Jack, and Scritch. You're still just eating the rest of your shish kebabs. You have one left, kind of savoring, gnawing out a little bit, chewing, enjoying every last bite, I would say. And Jack, you're playing with the Pegasus, having a really good time with Cloud Jumper.
Now, where can I fabric or parchment?
You kind of look over Scritch that it has a bunch of parchments and he has very nice robes and cloth.
Does he just have scriptures of skirt
Yes.
attached to him?
Yep.
Yeah, he's got
Oh,
him
boy.
nailed to his skin.
But that's parchment.
Yeah, it's parchment.
Scratch, any idea we could find parchment in here?
As Jack is looking around.
Is like this the only like barracks area?
No, they
that, like,
have
you've
it.
noticed?
They have an area down below here that leads into the mountain in a sense. Like it leads down below. They have supplies. They have sleeping quarters and like a dining hall down there.
Scritch will go find parchment.
I'm just gonna head like this way and down that way. To start
All right.
looking.
You see that this guard looks at you and she says, "Wait a minute! Don't go down there. You're not allowed." Ugh. I was told to stay with you.
Scritch is okay. Scritch has permission. Scritch can do it.
Roll a persuasion or actually roll a deception check for me, please.
Nine. Fuck.
She doesn't seem to believe you, but her orders are to stay with Jack and the Pegasus, not you. She says, "Please don't go down there. I'm not allowed to chase you, but just don't go. Just don't get into trouble. Don't steal anything, please."
Yeah. Scritch won't steal anything. Maybe.
Ugh, Jesus. She looks over at you, Jack. Your friend, I can trust him, right?
That's a loaded question.
Ugh. You stay right here with the Pegasus. I swear, if you go anywhere, they'll not only have your head, but they'll have mine. And she's going to run off and chase after Scritch. Scritch! Or she doesn't know your name. I apologize. Little Goblin, wait! And
Well,
she's
she
going
would
to...
have. She would
yeah,
have
she
done
would've
that
heard
one. Yeah.
Yeah, she would have heard your name, yeah, actually. Yeah, so she will say Scritch. Scritch, wait, Scritch! Don't go in there!
If
And,
I see her
these-
coming after me, I'm gonna start like running.
Okay, you start booking it down there then.
She's never gonna catch him, but
You see these two guards in heavy armor and heavy weapons laughing at, "Oh, go get her, go get him," and they're kind of like picking on her as her duty is to kind of like babysit you guys as you run off, Scritch. Meanwhile, inside here,
you ain't never gonna catch me.
but before we go to Rubick, Jack, is there anything you'd like to do with the Pegasus as you guys are still playing and frolicking in the road?
No, I'm just gonna like keep like patting him and keep him preoccupied until Scritch comes back with something.
All right, so you're just kind of keeping the Pegasus preoccupied and making sure that and just kind of like inspecting the creature itself, knowing it's very different from anything you've ever seen before. It's very rare, and you're just kind of impressed by its beauty. And you remember actually your Tinker father, the person who created you. You remember him actually speaking of Pegasus in stories that he used to read you in books.
Yes, good. Are any of
And-
them true?
Well, you can tell that almost all of them are true, even the part of where they can change color to
Where
certain
they're
emotion or to certain moods.
Mood ring?
Yeah, they're almost like a mood ring. Hey, maybe a mood ring is more like a unicorn. They were around before the mood ring.
You may be right.
Maybe that's why all the
You may
unicorn
be
are
right.
extinct, because they were made into mood rings. Well, that's another conspiracy for another time. But so you're just keeping an eye on the Pegasus, enjoying its company, and just kind of remembering and reminiscing about the stories your Tinker father, told you long ago, when you were first created. So we will now go to Rubick and Ivan, who are inside now, talking to the general, the Grand Seer, and a conscious captain and an unconscious captain, who are all kind of standing around in a formal kind of sitting area of where the desks are, and everyone's kind of taking a seat in between the two desks, and everyone's grabbed hold of other chairs and such.
We didn't leave the unconscious guy in the street?
No, the general told the Grand Seer to please bring him in so he can lay him down in the bed. So you are now talking. Seems to be another captain who seems to be the female instead of a older male. And I will show you what she looks like.
Rubick turns to look at her as we walk in. Not that I'll remember, but what do they call you?
She kind of like rolls. You can see one eye is actually blind from a scar that runs down it. Her right eye, but her left eye still seems to be good. And she says, "My name is Captain Greenwall. You can just call me Shannon if you wish, Master Rubick." She bows her head to you. And Ivan leans forward. "Isn't that the girl?"
Yes, Ivan, it's a girl.
No, he just kind of gets embarrassed and... No, that's not what I mean. I'm not confused about women or... Oh, Rubick, I hate you. And he just kind of turns his back to the conversation now as he's going through his alchemist bag. And the general kind of laughs. "Don't be shy, son. She's not married." And he kind of smacks Shannon on the back as she just looks over at him. General, as she kind of gets mad at like him proposing that idea just instantly and without a thought. "I'm just not some sort of woman you could give, not your daughter you could just give away." But anyways...
I mean, you humans are pretty short-lived. Don't you need to, like, procreate soon?
"I will procreate when I'd like to, thank you, Master Dwarf." And she kind of blushes. "It's none of your concern." And she looks to General as she kind of like waits for him to... Yes, we're getting off now. Let's get to the desk at hand. I'm sure you bone collectors don't have much time, especially the information that I'm sure that the Harper agent will be giving you. You'll probably be out of here soon, I'm assuming.
Yes. The Harper agent's filling in some of my other party. We'll get to that in the future. First of all, this man that's unconscious and your broken door both need to be filled with new objectives, as far as I'm concerned. Otherwise, I'm glad you're not all dead by the centaurs.
Well, thank you. And
I'm
what do
happy
you
we
think the
could
new
help.
objective for my captain should be?
Not being a prick.
Not being a prick, you say?
But in a more productive manner moving forward. Yes, he's a prick. I don't like him. If he wakes up, I'll probably hit him again.
He lets out a large, like a mighty laugh, and he says, "Jesus, all right. He must have really pissed you off. Let me tell you this. I will make sure my captain doesn't pull these same maneuvers that he pulled with you. I'll have a talk with him. In fact, I'll make sure that he doesn't pull this stunt again with any newcomer or fellow adventurer or even a villager. He shouldn't act that way. He has a high rank and shouldn't abuse his power. I forgive him and forgive me for not being a better general and keeping him in line. I sometimes cross my friendships and blur my paths to make sure my judgments should be righteous, but sometimes I blur them a little too much and forget where I should draw the line. That is my fault, Master Dwarf, not his."
Lucky for him, I've been drawing new lines of my own to try to minimize the effect on personal health to people that upset me.
He's been working very hard at it, Ivan chimed in. Bag still. See, Ivan, or see, Rubick, that's what it's like when you help someone, not throw them under the wagon. As he kind of goes through his bag again and looks over at the girl who's still kind of staring at both of you.
I mean, I threw him through the door, not the wagon.
You also said my door needed better objective. I'm assuming that is to be a stronger door, correct?
Oh, yeah, if this is officers' chambers, you shouldn't... This door needs some work, but what needs more work is those gates of yours. I hope those men are repairing them. I ordered them to. I hope that doesn't upset you.
No, in fact, I heard where the orders came from, and I was very impressed. Unfortunately, with the amount of supplies we have, I've even told the soldiers to remove their bed, to take their beds apart, and to use whatever materials we have left. In fact, these desks are going next, as some soldiers are actually waiting to take the desks away, and they're removing some of the equipment. Take them apart as best you can, men, and then use the rest of the remains to build up to rebuild the gate, and use as much as you can to salvage and repair. We need to use every bit we can. And he looks to you, Rubick, and he says, I do appreciate all your help, but I won't ask you to stay and fight my fight. All I ask is you take pity on my captain, and if you are to give lashings, then I will receive them. But I will not walk away until this quarrel is settled. What say you, Master Dwarf, Rubick of the Bone Collectors? As he bows to you, waiting for your answer.
The formalities at this point are unnecessary. The point of the lashings was less of a temporary pain to him and more of a embarrassment in front of his underlings, I suppose.
He will clean the toilets for punishment and embarrassment. He is a very vain fellow. In a job like that, he would never stoop so low, which is what will make it more interesting, since I don't think I've ever seen him have latrine duty in almost 10 years. But his punishment as well, he'll be cooking for a long time and having cleanup duties. But I do ask you, Master Rubick, the formalities are only but slight. You saved many lives. I admire what you and the Bone Collectors have done, especially your group alone. You have done quite a bit, even for the human kingdoms to the south of the Ember Citadel. Trade now goes through the north again. The dwarves replenish our barrels of mead. Trust me, my fellow brothers and sisters in Warrenheim sing very, very freely and strongly now that they have ale in their bellies.
Wait, you have dwarven mead here?
We have a couple kegs in our storage, and I'd be
happy all right. We have business to conclude.
He starts laughing hysterically, and the Grand Seer looks to both of you and says, but what the General says is correct, young dwarf. You are all heroes, and should be treated as such. Disrespect from the captain like that should not go unnoticed.
All right. Well, it's just... I don't think it hasn't gone unnoticed. He's not going to be sitting down for a while, and his guardsmen have
as you can see, there's splinters sticking out of his ass.
Yeah, his guardsmen are probably not listening to him a while. They're currently preparing for what I think will be an onslaught from the majority of the Centaur forces. We traveled for... This is going to be a lot of information. Are you taking this down?
You see that the captain next to him, Captain Shannon, is writing down everything. Yes. She's taking notes. Keep going, Master Rubick, please.
We traveled here from the west, from Grieven and other areas beyond.
You came from Grieven?
Yes.
It was one of the other human nations. Yes, we are very familiar with them. The Grieven, the Red Hawks. Yes.
Yes.
And how do they fare? It seems that you helped them, right? Correct?
Yeah. Yes. They're fine for now. Anyway, we passed through a town that was slaughtered almost to the man or woman, to the person. They were all dead.
Nulu, to the west of here.
The first town, if you take the road west, the first town you were to reach, it's gone.
The general looks over at the Grand Seer, and the Grand Seer nods his head. I did hear those screams tonight. It seems that New Loom has fallen.
Yes, There are some survivors, but they are few and they are young.
Did you see my brother as Captain Shannon like chimes in, but then like kind of like bites her tongue? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to speak out of turn. Forgive me.
We will get to that. First, to deal with the living, I'm sorry. The children need find home, safety, purpose, something. They have no one, and I fear that this place is, no offense, but this fort is perhaps doomed if the defense we saw in our approach are what you have to offer. You do not have enough men to man the walls. I climbed up it hand and foot, and no one saw me or stopped me.
So I've heard. No, unfortunately, these are new recruits. A lot of them are old veteran soldiers, men that lived out as farmers, and were called in for a draft. My lord is running out of troops, and we need to defend all the fronts as he's been expanding his territory, trying to claim as much as he can before the other human nations do. It seems that it's a race for land, but unfortunately at a great cost. As the general seems kind of now understanding of how much bloodshed has come into just taking territory. It's not as just simple as putting a flag down on the ground and saying this is our area. He's now realizing how many lives it affects and how many other races and other creatures live in these places that have lived there much longer than they have. It seems no matter what I do, there's always something or someone I'm stepping or treading on.
Indeed.
It almost seems it's like we weren't welcomed here, or even belong here, but my king insists, and I cannot disobey my king, as you may not disappoint Lord Vulcan.
Well, that's yes, we'll go with that. To the east of here, there's a halfling village. What is his name?
The halfling village? Let me think. He looks over at Captain Shannon. She just kind of rolls her one, and she says, "My lord, I just told you this yesterday. Come on, Shannon. You know I don't really pay too much attention to those things. The Grand Seer looks over at you, Rubick, and he says that village is also been compromised. When I flew over long ago, I wished to stop there and talk to the small ones, as they were my friends long ago. They are no longer there, and their small homes have been ransacked." Well, it seems the only choice we have to send these children is back to Warrenheim. Back to the kingdom.
To the south.
Yes, they'll have to go directly south. They'll be safe back in Warrenheim. It is surrounded by the other human kingdoms. Plus, they can stay there. There are many families and others that can take care of them.
How many men do you have in this fort?
Total right now, the casualties, I had 2 today, from what I've heard. I have 4 others wounded. And 1 other, he looks over, that's unconscious still. I could spare at least 6 men to take your children to the south. No more can I spare than that, my friend.
That's... How many men do you have in the fort in total?
42.
And 42 men could not stop a dozen centaur from breaching the gates. If we had not shown up, do you really think that this fort would stand alone?
That was the first gate, my friend. Letting them in there was just only a trap. They'd have to get through after they get through the first, they'd have to get through the second, which is where we would step in and use our other brute force.
And what if this was a scouting party and hundreds appear?
Then we are dead. Unfortunately, I'm only given what I am. I am in a predicament that I cannot really see myself out of. The centaurs came from nowhere. We were at first just fine with them, but not only the centaurs, there was a goblin attack just several weeks ago as well on a caravan.
Well,
the whole adventuring group, just like yourselves, well, not as experienced as I say, ended in a bad fate. Only one of them returned to Fort Carax, telling us of the grim tales of their friends that had fallen to the goblins. And the centaurs seem to be helping these goblins and the other forest creatures that live here.
In my opinion, and I mean this wholeheartedly, just without fail, if you expect supplies, and how much supplies do you have? How long can you last without venturing out of this? If you were to be besieged,
He kind of like grips his fist. As you can see, you just asked like a really quick question. I sent a scouting party out. They should have returned 2 days ago. My son was a member of that group. He promised me he would return from Warrenheim back with supplies, reinforcements, and word of our king. I have not seen my son. He kind of looks down as he's trying not to cry. I fear the worst. As he looks over at Shannon, we all fear the worst. So I'm guessing my brother is dead then. She kind of grips her sword and kind of catches her breath. As you can see, she kind of has she's kind of caught like something in her throat as if she's trying not to cry as well. Has he fallen to the centaurs as well?
I just look at her and just say, he is dead. And you can grieve later. My recommendation to you is falsify reports, do whatever you need to, abandon this fort, take what men you have, and run to the south.
Roll a persuasion check. Damn. The general kind of looks to looks to Shannon and he says, "Can't let my son down." And the Grand Seer puts his hand on his shoulder and says, "My lord, perhaps what the dwarf speaks is the truth. For this is not your son. This place is just a stone wall surrounded by grass and a hill. Your son could still be alive." I believe what the dwarf of the bone collectors is speaking the truth. This place is built of blood. Let us go back and help these children find homes, and perhaps bring peace back to this once peaceful bearing land. The general looks at both of you and then looks down as he's gripping a parchment that is obviously orders king. Captain Shannon. Yes, my lord. Gather the men and women. Tell them we'll be leaving. Tell them we'll be leaving by morning. And he's going to bow to all of you, and he's going to leave, kind of in a hurry. He doesn't want to talk anymore. And Captain Shannon's going to bow to him and try to stop him, but lets him go, obviously, because that's leader, and she's not going to really get too involved with it or try to intervene. The Grand Seer looks to both of you and says, "Ivan, both of you have a task greater than all of us coming up that you will have to face, and I wish you luck, for your guidance and your foresight have been proven worthy." As he bows to you, "May we meet again, friends." And he's going to leave as well.
So who's left in the room?
Seems to just be kind of staring at the ground with a very upset and realization of that her brother is dead.
I give her like a good 20 seconds, and then I walk up to her and just like stand there and wait for her to like respond, like look up or anything.
She's going to look at you and she says, "Thank you for telling me. Forgive me, I'm just now realizing I am the last of my family."
Well, there's a dozen or more children in your courtyard, and they are the last of their families too. Don't let your brother's death be in vain. Save their lives. Give them purpose. Let them live longer. You humans are short-lived as it is. Your years are precious.
She kind of smiles at you as you say that, and thank you, Master Dwarf. You are as honest as you are kind. And she's going to just give you a small kiss on the side of the cheek, and she's going to leave. And Ivan kind of looks to you and looks back at her. Jesus, Rubick, did you really have to go and tell them to abandon their fort? Do you think that's a good idea?
Yes, I do.
Well, you are our leader, and I'll follow you to the very end. To the very ends of even the 9 hells, but... Man, you have some mysterious ways, my dwarven friend. And he's going to pat you on the shoulder as your beard kind of poofs out from each pat he gives you.
Ivan, 2 battalions, 2 towns, decimated. To the east and to the west.
Well, it sounds like these centaurs are having help. It doesn't sound like a group of centaurs can do that much damage, could they? And he kind of shrugs.
That's the centaurs are the scouts, Ivan. They're fast.
And he kind of seems concerned as you guys are talking now inside. Doing the you guys are still outside enjoying the fire. You are still playing with the Pegasus, Jack, and Scritch, you're down below, and Rask, you're outside gathering the fragments. Rubick, is there anything else you'd like to do before we go off to someone else? Rubick, you there?
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said, is there anything else you'd like to do before we move on to some?
Oh, no, I just kind of, like, that's what I was really gonna... I kind of just go outside and I start, like, helping with general...
Oh,
Hello?
okay. Hello?
Sorry, you guys are roboting like crazy.
Yes, everybody was for me. Are we back?
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Okay. Yeah,
All
so
right.
that's all Rubick was going to say to Ivan, and then he just kind of like walks outside and just starts like, he just kind of looks left and right and just whatever the guards are doing just kind of helps start like whatever they're doing, like just helps them load wagons, prepare whatever,
Okay.
just food, load torches, fire, like whatever, and just starts helping them prepare and till someone comes and gets him, I suppose.
Okay. So you're gonna go out there and help them load supplies and everything like that, and we will go back. We'll come back to you. Bashir, you're still at the fire. Is there anything you'd like to do, or is there anywhere you'd like to go while it seems like the rest of your group is kind of split up? Or are you just gonna stay with the centaur and keep him guard?
Well, yeah, Rubick, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, Rubick was the one who instructed him to keep guard, and honestly, Bashir doesn't trust any of the people in here after seeing what the captain did to properly treat him as a prisoner.
Okay, so you're kind of taking more responsibility for the centaur, as you don't want anything bad to happen to him, and you also don't want him to run away as your captive. You guys are still treating him with respect, but you don't want obviously him to fall into the Warrenheim hands. So you're keeping a good eye on him.
Right, he's the bone collector's captive out there.
Yep.
And
yeah.
One of the reasons that he got off of the centaurs, he's trying to like show that he's like gonna treat him as like an equal. And
okay.
He can't get on his level obviously because of the major height difference, but you know he's trying to show that he's not a bad person.
The centaur looks to you and he just nods and he says something in Sylvan and Vree says, "Thank you, friend."
Bashir will nod and ask for Vree to translate. Bashir is a friend of the forest, as your kind seem to be. He wishes to make sure that things are. Gosh, what's the right word?
Balanced.
Resolved. Sorry.
Resolved.
He wishes to see things resolved without as much violence as possible.
She repeats this to him and roll a persuasion check with disadvantage again.
Alright. That's a 12.
He just kind of seems hopeless for a moment, and he looks up at Vree, And Vree looks back at you as he says this, and she says, all is lost. It seems that too many have been killed. His people won't last long at this rate.
Bashir's gonna look at him quizzically and, again, just using Vree as a translator. Why is it you are kind to continue this struggle? Why do you not move on?
This is their home. This is their life.
Bashir looking like in the eyes. One's home is where one makes it, where one's peoples are. Your people can move quite quickly, can make a new home, save what little remains instead of fighting for something that you are already going to lose. It is.
Vree kind of laughs, and he doesn't say anything to you as she repeats this, and he kind of just like looks up at the sky. Centaurs are stubborn. Their territories are theirs, and they don't like outsiders, especially people who build civilized buildings. As she looks around, aka the humans and the dwarves. Not a big fan. They are. They don't like what they do to the landscape.
Bashir protected. He's talking to Vree at this point, in common. The whole time I assume we're talking in common.
Yeah.
Actually, she's half orc, so he talked to her in orc.
Okay. She actually kind of likes that.
Right. But he's gonna talk to Vree. Bashir was raised by dwarves, but has lived many years in the forest. He can see both sides of this fight and understands the stubbornness of the species. However, he understands practicality as well. It is what has kept him alive so many years in the forest on his own. But Bashir does not think that this is a fight worth fighting.
Well, maybe, hopefully one day, Bashir, if you can grow some little horse legs, she smiles, you can go gallop out there and tell the centaurs before they come kill themselves. But it looks like the humans are actually doing the first move, as she points, and you see wagons and soldiers are now gathering supplies, it looks like, and it doesn't seem like they're taking defensive positions. It mostly seems like they're actually taking position to leave or gather everything and get out. Doesn't look like they'll be staying too long. Looks like they're not as welcomed as I thought. And she's going to say this to the centaur, and the centaur still seems defeated, even with her telling him this. Whether he believes it or not, he just seems still saddened by everything that's been everything that happened in that ordeal of the battle. He seems like he lost a bit of himself during that fight.
Just gonna look
But yeah, do you want to go check it? Do you want to go check anything out, or do you want to just stay with the centaur and the fire and grim?
He basically just be sitting with the centaur, essentially using Vree as a translator to try and get him to cheer up and get as much. He's trying to be the good cop without the bad cop to back him up, basically.
Okay, I like that. So you're trying to be the good cop, trying to just sway him, show him respect, and
Right.
and you could show him a little sympathy and compassion. You could see he's gone through some hard times.
Yeah,
And now you
is like honest, sincere.
Yeah,
like,
and now that you know a bit of his story in their story, Centaurs, you actually have some sympathy. You know both sides. You live with dwarves, and you've also lived in the forest. So yeah, you got a good grasp actually on what's going on with what these centaurs and these humans are actually going. As you're kind of trying to warm up to the centaur and befriend him, Rask,
Yes.
you get outside, and you are picking through, and you find a good chunk of the bone shards. You actually notice as you pick them all up, you could see that the pieces of tusk now, you're kind of making out the image of how they're going to be fixed. And you look very satisfied at what you've gathered. You could tell at this point you can use whatever you have now and craft whatever you need and repair the item just as good.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I guess he's gonna do like one last quick look to see if he missed any other fragments, and then he's gonna turn around and go back.
Okay. Roll me a perception check.
Mm-hmm. 13.
13?
Mm-hmm.
You look through and you look through the grass to see if you find any more pieces. And while you do so, you actually hear something off in the distance. But it goes faint.
He's gonna turn his head towards the sound, kind of slightly alarmed.
Sounds like it was coming from over and to your character's right-hand side down the stairs.
What does it sound like? Or at least what
It almost sounded like something like rocks, kind of like pebbles sliding down one another. Some disturbed earth.
Gonna come down here and check.
Okay. So you kind of round the corner cautiously. Do you want to have your weapon drawn, or do you just want to kind of be more cautious with your hands a little bit more freed up and at your side?
Freed up.
Okay. So you walk towards the sound and you look around the corner, and you notice that there's nothing in particular over here. You do have dark vision, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so you can see down the whole end till here. And even then you look down and you see nothing in particular. You don't see any signs of life, any creatures. It just seems maybe pebbles might have fallen from the wall up here from someone on guard duty. But you see nothing in particular over here.
Raska's gonna look up and see if he can spot anyone moving around on the wall.
You look up on the wall and you see that there's someone way over here. It looks like on this end, but no one over here. It doesn't look like anybody was standing there.
He's gonna go towards there to look a little bit closer then.
Okay. You look around and you actually look up on the wall, and roll me another perception check.
17.
17. You look up on the cliffside and you can see that dug into the side there looks to be some sort of little I guess you could call it like a little creature of some sort. It looks like a small I don't want to call it a warg,
Two-legged, four-legged.
Four-legged.
Kind of
It looks like
dog-like?
it looks kind of like a small warg that looks like it was kind of picked almost like crossbred with a wolf, like a very wimpy looking warg. And you can see he's trying to hovel up in the side there, and you can actually see that he's been bleeding pretty bad, and he looks like he's been cut by something, a blade of some sort, and the blood has been traveling all the way up the stairs.
Raska's gonna kind of walk up towards it.
And you can see it's cowering and getting scared and almost like freaking out, trying to climb further up, but cannot.
So it's trying to climb up, but is it like wedged in a thing?
Yeah, you can see it's terrified of you. You actually hear the guards hear this as well. What's going on over here?
Nothing. Go back.
Roll a deception check to try to get them to go away.
Okay. 11.
11. You let's see here. Okay, you tell them, and they listen to you. Sorry about that, the bone collector. We didn't mean to interfere. Sorry about that. And they just go back to their business. And you see that the small warg is bleeding frantically and seems to be scared of you, and just scared and terrified of everything in general. Just seems to be just like frantically trying to just get away from everything.
Can I try animal handling with it?
Yes, you can.
Just to kind of coax it down. Rolling the dice. Okay. 21.
You ask the creature, kind of just talking to it sweetly, and you're just trying to approach it and get it to calm down. And the small warg pup seems to be just terrified, just out of its mind, just frantically panting. You can see it's bled a lot. It doesn't look very good. And as you offer it its hand, it just seems to just kind of whimper and cry and whine as it's just afraid of you, just completely terrified.
Is it close enough that I can grab it?
Yeah, you can reach it now.
Okay. Rask is gonna heal it then, I guess.
Okay. You start to heal it. As you are healing it, the small warg pup starts to calm down and just kind of stops whining and just relaxes as a glowing light is now emanating from the palm of your hand near the wound of the. And you can see this warg is pretty messed up. It's missing an eye. It's got its one leg is very badly wounded. To where it keeps it up, like keeps it very high up to its chest, where it's like its front left leg is like almost lifted completely whenever it stands. Like it's almost if it's been permanently broken. You can see whoever had this warg or whoever, like wherever it belonged to, they treated it very badly.
Hmm.
So while you're looking over the warg, how much HP would you like to heal it? Give me a roll for that, please.
Yeah.
Rask the vet.
Yeah, I'm just good with.
Little animals.
Yeah, apparently 7.
7. So you start to heal the wound, and you're kind of just calming it down, and you can see that it's actually just been starting to relax and trust you a little bit as you're healing its wound. And it can't really completely obviously tell what you're doing, but it knows you're not meaning it any harm, which in its book is better than what it's usually ran into. So as you're healing it, Scritch,
Yo.
you are running amok now down in the cellar of the barracks. You now run down the stairs and you find yourself running past a guard who is kind of is sharpening his sword and says, "Oh, hello there, friend." As you kind of run past him, and he sees you run past, and you are now in a hallway going. You're now in basically a fork in the road. You see that there's a hallway. There's a hallway taking you to the right and a hallway taking you to the left.
Are there any signs pointing out?
You see that there's two signs in common. One of them to the right that says mess hall, and the other one that says rooms and storage facility.
Scritch is gonna start heading towards the mess hall, and then remember that he came down there for parchment, so he's gonna head the other way.
Okay. So you're gonna head to the storage facility.
Yeah.
Okay. So you take a quick left as you just kind of like screech on the stone floor as you drift around the corner, and you start flying down the other end, and you start moving as fast as you can down the hallway as a group of soldiers separates. "Oh there, friend, take it easy."
Hi, bye. Gotta get something.
And you hear a woman. "Who is that? Who is he? He's not one of our men." And you kind of go past them, and you run past, and you open the first door, which is it looks like it's a door to the bunkhouse area, and you shut it, and you see that the woman says, "Wait a minute, you stop there!" And you see that they're turning around now and starting to follow you. When you shut the door, do you wish to lock it or just shut it?
I'll just shut it.
Okay. You can still see that they're probably 30 feet behind you, so you still got some time to run away.
Do I notice any parchment anywhere?
Roll me a perception check while you're quickly looking around for any parchment whatsoever way that you could find.
10.
Natural 20.
Motherfucker.
So you look and you can actually see that there's parchment, but it's actually encased in glass, and it looks to be very decorative. It looks like it's very important to somebody. In Scritch, you're just kind of staring at the glass reflection of yourself in the mirror. Thank you, Chaotic. That is perfect. That's exactly how I see Scritch running.
Oh, fuck.
Just like Forrest Gump when he just books it out of the driveway.
Scritch is gonna go take the paper, or try to take the parchment.
Okay, so you jump up on the dresser, and when you do, you kind of step in front of the glass, and you just see the good reflection of yourself now, and you're just kind of like get a good look at what you look like for a moment, and you see that the large parchment looks to be some sort of scroll, like a very old scroll that has been rolled out and flattened with some pins to the inside of the frame. And you step forward, and what you do is you kind of move the glass a little bit to see how it moves, and you can see that it's 2 panels. And you have to slide one up to unlock it, and the other one will then open up like almost like a wardrobe or a closet door.
Okay.
So roll me a sleight of hand to open this glass case carefully, or do you just not care?
Yeah, he'll try and do it kind of carefully, I guess.
Okay, as carefully as Scritch can do.
Yeah.
With a 9, you open it and you kind of make a loud noise. Like as you throw the one door open, it almost smashes against one of the bed rails, and you can see as the soldiers come in, they are just in awe as you're opening the case. And you grab the parchment, and you kind of, when you do, you pull it off. A couple of pins kind of like fly out and hit the floor, and one of them hits you in the forehead and just kind of like bounces off, and you're like, ugh. And you now have this nice parchment in your hands. When you grab it, when you grab this parchment, Scritch, roll me a Constitution saving throw.
And that's how we summoned the demon.
That's how you
8.
summon Scritch.
8. You instantly almost go up into flames as you and the parchment disintegrate into fire for a moment, and you just flash into flame and fly off the dresser, landing on the ground as the soldiers are now trying to put you out of fire. You take
Help!
you take 14 fire damage
Hell
as you fly off the dresser and land on the ground, and they're putting you out, and you're just kind of sitting there as you cough up a giant smoke ball, and you are now put out of fire. Master Goblin, are you okay?
Scritch thinks so.
As they look you over, one of them touches your hands. Ooh, he burned me! He's still hot, be careful!
Sorry, Scritch didn't mean it.
Scritch, you kind of like shake your hands off as you still might be warm. And the rest of the guards stand you up. Be careful, that's great magic. The Grand Seer himself made that parchment. He was a young boy.
Scritch just needed parchment.
Well, you definitely didn't get the parchment you needed, friend. If that's all you needed, here. He's going to reach in, and he's going to pull you out a parchment. And just kind of like as he hands it to you, he's going to ask you if you want like ink and a quill. But I'm sure you're already running away now with the parchment, correct?
Yeah, as soon as he got
Okay,
the
yeah.
parchment,
So
he's
well,
gone.
yeah. So as soon as he hands it to you, my friend, you're already gone. He's kind of, do you also need ink? And I also have a nice quill here. And he turns and looks. Oh, he's gone, isn't he? And the rest of the guards are just like,
Thanks.
and the other guards are kind of like, don't know what to do. Like you're just moving so fast that they're like, what, do we follow him? What do we do? And the one guard rolls his eyes. We'll have to report this. And oh Jesus, these bone collectors, as good as they are, help. They're going to get us in a lot of trouble. How do we report this? And you can just hear them kind of like bickering into themselves of how they're going to tell the general that they just lost this parchment.
I'm assuming I run back by this chick.
Yes, as soon as you turn and run through that door you shut on the guards, you actually run staring at you. Scritch, why do you look like you just came out of a giant fire chimney?
Scritch is just gonna keep running. Go.
Scritch didn't do anything that would happen.
No, wait, come back here. And she's gonna try to grab. Is you're gonna try to dodge out of her way? Roll me a dexterity saving throw to jump out of her way.
15.
And she's gonna reach and try to grab you. Wow. So it meets or beats. So she grabs you barely. She stops you from running. You kind of go in between her legs and she kind of like spun upside down on her head, and she's grabbed your one leg. No, you don't. You're not getting out of my hands this easily. And roll me a athletics or a acrobatics check this time to try to, or no, it's a grapple check this time. So yeah, roll me athletics or athletics or acrobatics to try to get out of the grasp. Natural 1.
I get out, right? She snaps my neck.
14. She got a 15 on hers. So no, you fall and face first. You just kind of like bust your nose, and you see that she just like made you like she kind of like pulled your leg out from underneath you as you tried to run again, and she just kind of flinches. Ooh, I'm sorry, and she's gonna pick you up as she now is standing with you, and she's holding you by your leg upside down as your nose is now bleeding. Ooh, no, don't let it bleed in. And she's gonna hold you now as you're just she's holding you now like a baby that's like leaking pee, or like a baby that's hazardous. You know how people hold their babies away from them, kind of like that, like a bomb. well, she's holding you now like that, and she's holding you straight forward as you're just bleeding everywhere, and you're just kind of like, ugh. Stop talking! You're getting blood all over me. She just she's closing her eyes now, just like covered in your blood as you're spitting it at her. Ugh! She just drops you now, just disgusted. Don't do that! Ew, Scritch! Why would you spit your blood on me?
Just gonna get up and start running again.
And you just start running with a big bloody nose and a big grin on your face. When you also touched her, you noticed that you also ignited one of her sleeves on her shirt on fire. And she just starts trying to put it out as fast as she can. And you see the other guards now see this.
Sorry.
And they're trying to help her now. Scritch, get back here! And she screams at the top of her lungs. And you see Scritch is just out of there as fast as a little poof of lightning, and you see a bunch of smoke trailing behind him as he's running out of that door. So Scritch, while you're running away from all that, we're actually going to go back to Rask really quick. Rask, while you're healing that warg, roll me a perception check. Ugh. All right, well...
When it matters least.
When it matters... I don't know about that. You almost hear the sound of it almost sounds like a giant gust of wind out of nowhere, and you can tell with your instincts that something is completely wrong and not safe about this. Roll me a dexterity check with advantage.
13.
13. You grab the warg and barely you land and hit the ground, and you see that the side of this tower here gets hit by something very large and very strong, huge, almost like the size of a tree. And you can see the tower takes a huge indentation, and just rocks and rubble rip up from it as it goes upward and launches into a hailstorm of debris that kind of catapults over into this direction of the fortress. And basically standing above you, that has been kind of just been standing there, it almost seems like creeping up on you, is a large cyclops.
Ooh. Okay.
The cyclops wearing just little fur armor and skulls and it looks like human remains, was kind of tracking you and waiting for you to make the wrong move. But you fortunately had the good reflex in time just to barely get out of there, or just to basically move out of the way. So you see there's just the giant club swings and hits the tower. You drop down with the baby warg pup in hand, and you hear the cyclops just kind of grunt as the swing misses. Huh? What? Why no squish? Why no blood? As he kind of licks the butt end of the club with giant spikes protruding out of it and teeth and bone. No, I did not kill. And he looks around as he's looking for you now. Where are you, lizard?
Rask is gonna... I'm not really...
Good appearance. That's what he looks like.
How big is he?
He seems to be at least above 20 feet tall.
Oh, okay. How tall are frost giants normally? 10, 15 feet?
Yeah, your father was a bit taller than most. He's about 16 and a half.
Okay.
Judging from his height, you can tell just kind of measuring to his father, he's about 21 to 22 feet tall. He is a very, very large cyclops.
Rask is going to quickly try and distract him with thaumaturgy, and to distract him with a voice from a different angle, or just a booming voice that seems to come from everywhere.
Okay, I like that. Is that a roll, or does that just automatically happen? And
it's a cantrip. It just does something.
Okay. So you want to make it so it causes a noise coming from all directions?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see here. Oh yeah, he instantly starts spinning around. Oh, They know we're here. Attack! Attack! As the Cyclops screams and yells, and he kind of like shouts and looks around as he's declaring to kill you, and obviously in frustration since he can't find you. He thinks that you move or you're around or fleeing away. So not wanting to escape, he's screaming for, it seems, the rest of his group to attack you guys. So you're gonna start booking it up the hill, I'm guessing.
Rask is gonna book it up the hill, but also he's gonna shout. Use the same thaumaturgy because you can actually declare it can be voices.
Oh, okay, cool. I like that.
So he's gonna shout Cyclops attack, I guess. Although I don't. Do Cyclops speak giant?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They actually, in
They're
giant
not
community, they actually consider them right about hill giant ranking of giants.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. They're not exactly bright.
No.
What are you talking about? That one spoke so eloquently.
That Cyclops isn't sure if he's offended or not. He's gonna take some time and think about that. No attack, hold. No, I'm just kidding. Me must think if insult was insult. No. So you want to book it up the hill, correct? To
Yeah,
get away from
Rask
him?
is gonna
Okay.
book it up the hill.
How far can you go? If you're gonna dash for me real quick.
Dash will be.
Do you still have like, a
60.
in your arms or something? Though?
Yeah, I do still have the warg, but
Oh, yeah,
it's like a baby warg, so
Yeah, yeah.
60 feet, probably around there.
Okay. Yep. Boom. So you're booking it as fast as you can around the corner there after you've distracted the Cyclops from really kind of detecting what direction you went into after you ducked. It's that you seem to really throw him off as soon as you did any fast movements. Obviously, proving his depth perception isn't that well. So you kind of bamboozled him out of that position of his advantage, and trying to attack you after swinging and stomping to try to kill you. And you are now booking it up the hill after screaming also Cyclops attack. And you can see that the rest of the guards that were on this tower are very shaken up, and they are just kind of like, it's almost like a grenade went off. So they're all kind of still hearing like almost like that like high pitched squealing noise. After
the ring.
Yeah, so they're it's almost like they're trying to get their hearing back, and you can see that there's a bell now being rung. We're under attack, and all the bone collectors, all of you hear this bell simultaneously, and we will end there for tonight.
Ooh.
All right, cliffhanger.
But it's only 8 o'clock here.
I know,
It's
but
only
it's
10 p.m.
11:03 here.
Right.
It's not even tomorrow yet.
All right, well, let's get in the battle then. Come on, guys.
Alright, I'm ready to go. I got nothing until 6 tomorrow.
I still have work tomorrow at 8 a.m.
Shh, you're
Be
fine.
up at 4:30.
Just don't go to sleep. That's when you get
I've done that
tired.
before. It's not a good idea.
Nope.
At least I don't have to operate any heavy machinery
Right.
other than driving. But I don't have to drive right now, so I'm fine.
Hey,
Well,
look,
Jay can operate heavy machinery and hit stuff, and he's fine as long as he doesn't too many of the pillars over. Doesn't.
No, if I hit stuff, I lose money.
That's true.
All right.
If they find out it was you.
They're always watching.
But yeah. So thanks everybody for listening in. Thanks for joining us, and
Yep.
we really appreciate the views and listeners. Even if you're here for a little bit, we really appreciate it.
Right. Even if you jump in, say this isn't for us, then that's fine. You're welcome to do that.
Yeah, definitely. So thanks again for chiming in and being here with us, and we'll pick up next week at the same time, 7 p.m. Eastern. And thanks again for Carnes and Kuuretsu streaming. We greatly appreciate that, and I'll let them take over their streams and off. Everybody else, I'll start rewarding you guys experience points too, and we'll do the vote. So I guess if you guys have any viewers really quick who'd like to vote as well, we greatly appreciate that.
Right.
Just a heads up for anybody who doesn't know, we vote for the best pretty much the best 2 role players, or even the characters that made you laugh the hardest, the characters that you felt most connected with, the character that really brought you into the story. I like to reward those players for that very reason. They put the time and the effort into doing this. So I like to reward those players, and the way I see fit for it is letting the listeners kind of help me choose that make that choice. Especially, it's a great way to get other people's perspectives and reward those players that I might not see that perspective. So, and the players, I like them to vote as well because they see that as well. So it means a lot to them, and it means a lot to me. If you could vote, they get bonus experience for it, so it's a big deal for them. And the votes are pouring in. Let's see here.
Right. I think the couple people that are still in my chat are in our Discord, so I'm gonna end my stream there. If that's not the case, feel free to jump over to Kuuretsu's and vote there. I'm not really good at making little macros and polls and stuff. I'm gonna try working on that this week, but I'll end it here for my end.